Uh, we're here at Esoteric Ebb again, or here playing Esoteric Ebb again. Uh, didn't stream yesterday because I got some family that came over, but we're back at it. Uh, last time we finally talked to, what was her name? Brain fart. Lady Sageleaf, the Goblin Chieftain, and we got a little companion guy named Snell, and I died probably like 2 or 3 times yesterday because I was talking to people. So hopefully that doesn't happen again. Alright, let's see what I gotta do still. Just gotta revive a guy, get my book fixed, cast this class conflict, learn druid magic. I think I failed the check for that. Investigate the pillar, get into the tea shop, find the owner, find Frank, son of Frank, some witness, already did that, election week, check water lane in the morning, and ask people about their political affiliation. Okay, easy. Bikes are cool, you should ride your bike more. I'm really happy this game decided to add like bikes, because it's kind of like a more modern thing that wait, is my stream fine? Oh, I think my stream might be a bit too big. How do I fix that? Oh goodness me, that's not how you do that on OBS. I'm so bad with this stuff. There we go, that should be good now. I think. Yay! Okay. Boom. Yeah, yesterday, I found out that my resolution was off by like 50 or something pixels height-wise. So I fixed it, but I forgot to scale the window like back to size. Ooh. I have a 6 in Constitution, so there's no way I'm passing this check. But we'll try. Hey, that's pretty good. Zerba BE Exile, level 1 service worker. That's my favorite D&D class. A girl born from an Asgalist wave in an Asgal household come from a fallen Asgal state. She's an Asgalist, dangerously shy. She needs good friends and better mentors. That is not you, by the way. She has a bright future ahead of her no matter the path she ends up pushed along into. Alas, her agency is nowhere to be found. Not that she is looking for it. Interesting. Where is she? The dwarven girl gazes around the halfway bridge before her eyes land on you. She says nothing for a while, just staring at you. No real reaction on her face. Believe it or not, I'm not actually a cleric. Huh? I am a wizard, the powerful kind, the kind to take over the world one day, like the old Arcanus of Diminor. I know that's kind of a controversial thing to say these days, but I just feel like we all need to get better at expressing what we feel. Amen. Arcanist? She stares at you some more, then says, weren't they evil? Very interesting that you mentioned that, for you see, the ontological explanation of good and evil is actually more aligned with the ideas of the self versus the other. So in fact, the Arcanists were simply focused on the development of the self rather than the development of others. She looks around, clearly nervous. You're worrying her. Yeah, I'd be worried too if some guy walked up to me and started spouting this. Even in a magical world. By your presence alone. Oh. Man, today. It's annoying. I'm waiting for a friend, but she hasn't shown up yet. I'm getting worried. I can help with that. Get excited about a potential, yet very minor quest. Oh, okay. Do we really have time for this? Snow whispers to you. She fidgets with her hands and clears her throat. The girl is neurotic and introverted. That's a mean way of phrasing it. But it is true. Her body language reveals all too much. She wears glasses. She wears a green coat. She's a human, but not that much taller than me. Short, okay. We were supposed to meet up here, but she hasn't shown up yet. I'll go look for your friend with the glasses. Thanks. I don't spend too much time on Tolstad alone, so I'm a bit lost. So, thanks. Nod and leave. What a good man I am. Sleeping. For service, come back after midnight-ish. Okay, we'll keep that in mind. An empty barrel. Actually, there's 12 bucks in there, so let's go. Not empty at all. What's this? A corner of Norvik, still standing in the gate era. Okay. Something stuck in one of the roller mill blades. Looking out over the edge towards the roller mill's blades, you see them spinning as per usual. Except in one of them, there's something stuck. You see a rod. A fancy thing, decorated. How did it end up there? Interesting. It appears you spotted something interesting. That design is quite easy to spot among the mass-produced arcane-era magic items. It is an immovable rod. What are you looking at? Oh, he mouths and stares at the same thing you're looking at. Looks like a rod? Weird. An immovable rod? Yes. Are they rare? No. Uncommon. Though they can be quite useful as long as the esoteric forces upon them have not waned. However, why it is lodged inside of a roller mill blade, that is a more fascinating inquiry. Bleh. Wait, wouldn't it be dangerous to try to grab it? You could die, yes. Okay, thank you for being quite blunt. But it might be worth it? Maybe? Can I increase my dex anyway? Yes. I don't need to be charismatic to get this thing. Charisma does not matter in this situation. Alright. Let's go. Let's get that rod. Huh? Grab the rod. Let's do this. Oh, that could have been a 3. Let's go. You reach out. Oh, wait. This is the scene in the, one of the trailers for the game. Wait, let me pull it up. YouTube. Yeah, this.
Welcome to...
Man, I'm not gonna give you any advertising. Yeah, let me... Can I, does Game Capture work on anything? Okay, it looks like it does. Does it? My screen's black. I might just go to window capture for this real quick. There we go. I gotta adjust this size too. How do I do that? There we go. Dude, I'm pretty sure this is like an actual scene in the game. Because I'm pretty sure I saw it like in the game engine, not in the art. Oh, the art's really good. Oh, I don't think it's in this one. But it's in a different trailer. But you can get stuck on here. Ah, I wish I failed that now. Damn it. Chris, bro, let us, give us the option to purposefully fail checks, please. Oh, for God's sake. The goblin grabs onto your skirt. Uniform. He grabs onto your uniform. Is it a skirt? Oh, I guess it is. Balance on the edge, and you get it. Gained item movable rod. It's a hard wooden frame with fancy iron set pieces on each end. Along the handle is a button, however it appears permanently pressed down on. Oh, it's an immovable rod. I've seen one of those things before. I don't think it's supposed to move though, right? Investigate it. A quick swipe of your hand reveals its magical nature. However, this item is clearly broken. Broken how? Try giving it to the goblin. Hand it over. The goblin grabs a rod. Let go. As you do, the goblin holds it alone. Yeah? It's really light. It's esoteric, clearly. Try tossing it into the air. He shrugs. Okay. He tosses his hand up, and the rod does not leave his palm. What? He mutters, and tries to let go of the magic item. I can't. It's like I'm glued to it. What the hell? Here, take it back. The goblin hands it over to you without a problem. He looks perplexed. Try touching it against the ground. As you do, it gets stuck to the ground. Obviously. It's a broken immovable rod. It's a movable rod? Sure. Huh. Whatever object it touches last, the rod will be esoterically locked and aligned with. It cannot be moved once it touches an object, until it comes into contact with a second object. What constitutes an object in this case? That would be an esoteric designation, usually determined by belief or common esoteric forces, or set in specific rules left by Yor. In this case, it seems to indicate a dynamic object connected via mass. Were you to cut off your arm, that arm would be a new object. Were you to place that arm on the ground, it is not a new object. But were you to, for example, staple the arm to the ground via pittons, then it could potentially constitute as a part of the ground, depending on how harsh the defining forces are in this particular case. Either way, there's no real use in defining those rules right now, but it would be interesting for further study at a later date. So, what can this be used for? Used? Oh, nothing. It's quite literally a useless stick. Really? Well, if used very carefully, it could be a bookend. What's a bookend? Functional decorative supports placed at the ends of a row of books to keep them upright. Oh, those things. Okay. Interesting. You know how it works? It's stuck to one thing, and when it touches a new thing, it's stuck to that instead. You got it. You're so smart. Well done. Fuck off. I meant it. I meant it. Look, it's clearly useless, but now you know. Was it worth it? Eh. I mean, it's a cool stick. It's a very, very interesting stick. Those can never be bad. Right. Leaf. An uncommon magic rod. When you press the button, it's supposed to be stuck in place near unmovable by anything but incredible forces. This one's broken, however. The button is permanently pressed down, which causes the rod to be permanently stuck, but only to the last surface it touches. You can carry it around. It's kind of neat. Well, this is just +1 dex and -1 charisma. This is just +1 dex, so I guess I'll keep that on. I got a stick on my back. Is it floating? Kind of. Maybe. I don't know. Oh, that's probably the tea shop. Hello, lady. Lady Chamar, mountain lamb. Behold. Oh. You're a human. Thank you for the information. The hooded woman's cape flutters as an icy wind rushes through the Tolstad rise. Her eyes are locked with yours. What are you looking at? You, stranger. I am looking at you. Her voice is emotionless and spoken from deep in her chest. The voice of a priestess. I am Shamar. I hail from the slopes of the mountain. She bows her head, slowly. A golden horde servant. A human from Divinitorum? Golden Horde? Yes. I do not have time to talk much. I am in service of the ambassador. As you can imagine, I am not here to socialize. Why are you staring at me so much? Is that a bad thing to do in the city? I mean, not if you have a good reason. What reason? Trying to look cool. If you're trying to look cool? She nods. Okay. But she looks away. I'll stop making eye contact in accordance with your local norms. No, that's not what I meant. What do you know about the tea shop? Nothing. I do not spend time on Tolstad. I am here on business today and will soon leave. But I am sorry for the destruction wrought upon your city. What are you voting in the election? I am not a citizen of this city. Also, democracy is not something I approve of. She knows well how foolish it is. You don't want a voice? Why? She looks up to the sky. Men are weak. We spread so much, breed, and spread like an esoteric wave. Yet we do not have a view of the long term. Democracy depends on folk being informed. They are not. What if we informed them better? In a hypothetical scenario where folk could gain access to all information, they would still not be able to know what is true or not. Men are not built to make such important decisions en masse. We are lambs. We follow those greater beings. To answer your question, stranger, I would vote for whoever stopped this foolish democratic dream. That's the nationalists, I think. Then I would vote for them, or nothing at all. Once I'm supreme ruler slash god wizard of this city, I will do just that. Lofty ambitions for a mortal. Half of me is lofty, the rest is pure-blooded genius. You cannot be pure-blooded and a half-breed at the same time. Oh, you're no longer a free stride, instead you're an Arcanus. Gained 100 XP for changing your political stance. I love changing my political stance. But I wish you luck on your journey. Thank you. Got me a lot of XP. I have some personal questions for you. I do not have time for your inquiry. Please, she says and bows her head. So, later then. I am busy then as well, cleric. The golden outreach does not cease. Ever. Right. Goodbye. So, oh. A broken statue of a cat. Cute. So, hold on. What are my other affiliations? A nationalist, Asgallist, apolitical, and there's another one. Because these all seem to be tied to stats, so this is Constitution, but my Constitution's so low it's not going to say anything. This road leads into Central Tolstad. You have no business there. Yes, I do! Okay, I guess I don't. Hello, lady. Ooh, the Asgal chant. +1 wisdom. A low-quality copper press paper with beautiful dwarven iconography on the cover. This is printed with love and care, and the articles are written with the working class in mind at every step. It's extremely radical and highly Asgalian. Okay. And wisdom! I like wisdom. Okay. It's probably the girl she was talking about, right? Oh my god, I rolled an 8. Human reads folk, a girl on a mission. She's out to fight for the green no matter the battle. Your friend wanted to say hi. Or not say hi, to find you. You see a girl with glasses stuffing a mail slip with a magazine. Yeah, that's not a courier, he whispers to you. What do you mean, Snell? She's delivering the news, clearly. The girl gives up trying to jam a slightly too large paper into the mailbox opening. Huh? She looks up at you, adjusting her glasses. I can do this. I can do this. I'm strong. I'm a big, strong man. Let's go. I never doubted myself even for a second. He takes a step back as you approach the mailbox slit. Cleric? No, like this. With the force of at least a dozen angry muscles, you grab onto the edges of the half-entered paper and powerfully press it into the slot. You do realize once done that you probably didn't need that much force to press it in, but it sure looked good. I did not ask for help. Give her a thumbs up. I don't have time for this. Oh. Modisa! You hear a voice call up from down the alley. Let's go. She glances at the stack of papers and mutters to herself. Shit. We gotta get done before evening, otherwise Waterlane is screwed. You hear the girl in green groan as she grabs her stack of papers. And she rushes down the alleyway. Not sure what that was about. You gotta get done before evening? Is it evening now? But did you see the armband? Asgallus. The armband, yes. She is an Asgallus. She's just some girl. No need to care. I'm done here. There's so much to explore. Is there anything here? No. It says Darrow House in glowing magical lettering. Hello, Angel. I got a 2. I suck at beholding people. Hi. In the Coin Lord's garden, you encounter a porcelain specter. Coin Lord, the magistrate handling minting, trade, financing of public works, and tithes. Currently held by Nicholas Darrow in the Tolstad district. Polished armor, inhuman, her presence is both ethereal and demanding. She floats gently in the air, strangely unaffected by the river winds. Your goblin companion keeps his distance, muttering under his breath a word of disdain. Angel. Angel? The creature does not turn to face you. Instead, her many eyes simply pivot their gaze. She looks cool, by the way. She looks cool. A handful of the Celestials are employed by the city after the Clan Lands deal of 13. Clan Lands deal. In 13 PE, 14 years ago, a fragile peace was signed in the Halfling Clan Lands to the west of Norvik. The Golden Horde have since been a powerful ally of the city. Arcane Cleric, she echoes, of the Palace, Script House, and Earthguard. This is the one. This Valkyrie. Keep her safe. You? Keep her safe? She'll wreck you, buddy. Beware. That's me. Hello. She replies by bowing her head slightly, whilst her many eyes glare at you. She now lifts her chin. Then she opens her mouth to speak in a projected cold tone. Etter. She says her name like a declaration of existence. As she states her name, you realize her mouth is not moving. Telepathic communication. The goblin gives you an uncomfortable look. He clearly does not enjoy having telepathic conversations like this. That's a nice name. She does not respond. Whatever you do, don't mention the eyes. You should mention the eyes. Okay. I'm getting mixed signals here. She'll appreciate it. She would destroy you. She just for mentioning her eyes? Am I gonna call them ugly or something? She's too powerful. The angel would step upon your soul, stomp on it. Her domination would be good and just. Let it happen. Tell her what you think of her many eyes. Okay. Oh no. The smooth thoughts and endless love. It's overflowing. Oh my goodness. I need to grab a bottle of water before I read this. I'll be back. back, I have prepared the water. Because I'm going to need it after I read out this singular line of dialogue. Alright. Pray tell thou... God damn it, I already messed it up. Alright, from the top. Pray tell, thou celestial harbinger. Fuck! Pray tell, thou celestial harbinger, of such splendid beauty and gleaming countenance, if the light might truly be of your making, for thine ethereal and glorious nature beheld within that halo of eyes. I'm not starting from the beginning again. I'm too deep in. In thy duality which foreverly, I don't think is that a word? Oh my god, it's a word. Foreverly plagues my being and soul. The sun, I say, the sun is nothing compared to you. Point at her and whimper. My goodness. We just met. As you finish your rambling, there's a silence sweeping over the magistrate's yard. Foreverly is not a word. Google lied to me! Now it is. Bow down before her. Oh my goodness. As your helm touches the ground of the Magister's garden, you feel the overwhelming and excruciating final urge to tell this angel one more thing. Nice to meet you. After all of that, my two other options, earth be blessed by your presence, and you consecrate the very earth, my lady. The third one is nice to meet you. After I spend like a minute reading this game is perfect. The goblin's eyes dart back and forth between the two of you. He's expecting a retaliation. The words escape your mouth. Your lips. Gotta read before I speak. Like smooth, honey? Yeah, honey. I'm sure she loves that. She looks down on you with many eyes. No response at first, but then she raises her head. Thank you, she says. Phylogenistic agenda updated. A dry reply. At least she's not pissed. Take that as a win. Get up. Hey, Snell whispers to you. Don't mess with this fucking thing. Okay. Maybe do some small talk, then ask the big questions. Whisper back. Why? Aren't angels good? He grits his teeth. You ever heard of celestial punishment? We're talking seared flesh, cleric, right off the bones. The angel is most likely a radiant member of the Golden Horde. Do not mess with her. He takes a step back. Nice weather we're having. Avoid eye contact. Her many eyes look upwards for a moment, then back to you. It is fine. Shivers. Is this the Darrow residence? Some of her eyes glance towards the door to your left, then back to you. They spin gently around her. She's very non-focal. We're getting nowhere with this. Be direct with her. That'll make things easier, just don't be too rude, okay? Great. So, her eye stops spinning. She can sense her impatience. This creature's dreaded self. I'm healing before I say this. I can't, no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying number 2. I was thinking about it. No, there's no way. Enunciate slowly. I need to speak with Darrow. Slowly, the angel turns her face towards you for the first time. Oh gods, you're a dead man. Walk away, walk away, walk away. You can feel Snell sweating. Alutki Prismaul? A celestial tongue. A common derogatory saying among the Horde. It means something along the lines of, the little one speaks. You can sense she does not see you as worthy. Is that alright with you? No! Perhaps you should stand up for yourself. Ooh, I'm gonna stand up for myself. Take a step forward. Don't disrespect me, Angel. It's underlined, so that means it's like a risky decision, but I'm gonna do it. As you do, she makes her first real move. One step. Her hand placed upon the top of your helmet. I'm going to die. The stream is titled Dying from People Talking in Esoteric Ebb. It's happening. It's happening. Why do I keep doing this? What? When? The goblin grits his teeth and stumbles back. The ring rotates around her head and now yours. She is close. Stay silent. She leans in. You see through the gap in her skull where her eyes should be. Oh wow. Oh, I'm looking closer. Oh wow. A warning, cleric. Jen, no, she whispers, before taking a step back, leaving you frozen. You don't like her. Your body is P-U-L-L-E-D'd towards a 31? A DC of 31 on the first day? Who's gonna pass that? That was awesome. Thank you, Strength. Thank you. Despite her harsh words, you see her body language relax. Maybe. It's hard to tell, but she does not appear truly angry. Coin Lord Darrow is busy, she speaks. Okay, so nothing bad happened, it seems. I don't know what Jen no means, though, so... When is he available? She looks to her right, towards the building leaning against the ancient tower. After a moment of silence, she says, Coin Lord Darrow will be available post-midnight. He will only be available after midnight, between those times, okay. He'll be in his rest tour. Several of her eyes look to the entryway to the right. Rest tour is not a real word, and whoever's attempting to make it one deserves a life of suffering. That door right there? Point to your left. Yes. At midnight, you say? Yes. His rest tour? Yes. Okay, so 3 yeses. Got it. Right. She says nothing. You can sense her inner feelings about this term are something akin to pure, unadulterated rage. So she doesn't like it too. Nice. She's clearly a master manipulator, just standing there, staring. Yeah, I need access to the tea shop now. Coin Lord Darrow has requested no unauthorized access. I'm not authorized? You are not. Damn. What did you say I could speak with? I just asked this, but okay, for the dialogue tree. Coin Lord Darrow is available post-midnight. His door will be open. Why can't he see me before midnight? She does not respond to your question. Can you grant me access to the tea shop? No. What if I'm too busy to see him after midnight? You are not. You got me there. Her eyes focus in on you. I did. Snarky. Wow. What should I do until I can meet with him? Just hang around? Her eyes spin gently around her head. The tea shop owner, she says, as if suddenly coming to life. Locate him. Do that. Return at midnight. Good idea. Midnight. Got it. Return when it is time. Could I ask some personal questions? No. Please? No. Tough nut. You speak good human for an angel. Human is not a language. You speak this language good, though. I speak every tongue, cleric. It is not special. Your goblin raises an eyebrow. Really? Even goblin? Tami, she says, turning her gaze to him. Nach Tethu, Gobhar? What a show-off. Oh, awesome. Good job, lady. He did not expect that. Few goblins speak goblin in Norvik after the integration efforts. Not integration. It was a genocide. The goblin genocide. Goblin genocide. The destruction of the goblin clans of Askani by Earth around 50 years ago. 3 clans were then integrated into Norvik, with their new generation being put through human schooling. Nod your head and leave. The Magister's back door looks cramped. This path is closed. Okay, that makes sense. Apples! Ooh. Entrance to the old guard tower. Can't get in here. Is that everything? Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. A branch from the majestic apple tree in the magistrate's yard. A sign of humanity's greatest ability to grow and nurture the natural world. The tree is most likely a gift from Lady Sageleaf. Seen anything suspicious lately? Snell gives you a concerned glance. Then he too turns to the tree and growls. You better answer quick if you want to keep your leaves, buddy. The tree does not respond. Damn. Guess we'll never know. If you truly think this tree knows something, you should get in touch with the primal magics. Okay. How do I reach those apples on the roof? You would have to use Mage Hand, of course. In order to procure, make sure to dive through every source of esoteric knowledge you could find on this forsaken island fortress. Do not bother, just climb up, it's easy. I will! Let's go. With a heave and a hoe. Great job on your, climb. I'll stay down here, though. You make it. Feels like a fox and or grapes type situation. That one has something shiny in it. Whoa! This feels like a... Okay. Do they all just... Okay, I think they all say the same thing. Yep. Can these people say anything? Servants. You hear them talking about how much of a dick Darrow is. Okay, so yeah, so they just want me to do that. Okay. It's a very pretty tree. A branch from the majestic apple tree in the magistrate's yard. A sign of... Okay, we already saw this. Climb... I'll take a screenshot of that. It's kind of weird how to climb the branches to get down, but the heave and a hoe, you make it. Lovely. Okay. So... Hello, lady. Pinja. I'm gonna shut her. Thank you for that. Behold. Ilf, Ilum, level 2 sorcerer. Strange. There's something not quite right about this elf on the corner of the fortress. Her presence appears not vivid enough for you to... Standing on the corner, you see a woman in a green coat. Her intense gaze focuses on the cityscape horizon across the river. Careful, cleric, Snell says under his breath. Easy to slip and fall here. Greetings, citizen. She turns her head, the expression cold. She's mourning. Yes? This is a real lady. Impress her with your poetry skills. Elves are scary. Don't trust her. My lady elf, how fair you are on this bright morrow. Bow your head. The lady doesn't seem to respond. She breaks eye contact, once again facing the river. Call me Pinja. Tervidis, got it. It's as if she is searching for something, but her soul remains in place. The full name? She closes her eyes and nods. Pinja Athena. Translation: Pinja of the Mend, an elf of the Ilum Forest. Interesting. Athena is an elven title granted to those related to Ilum the Mender. Her words ring hollow, as if she's not really there. What are you doing here? Waiting. She's anxious. Waiting for what? She looks up at the pillar of yore. I have a friend in need of help. That sounds like a quest. I can help. Me. I do that. She shakes her head. No need. I've caused enough trouble as it is. No. She has to give you this quest. It sounds perfect. Please. I want to help. The elf is quiet. A little show of force, and you will be able to get your hands on this quest. Convince her you can help. You feel a surge of confidence. There's only one way to make her give you this quest. Prove your heroic qualities. You know who I am? The elf does not respond. I'm the man that'll save the world one day. The elf turns and looks at you. If your friend needs help, I'm the guy to do it. She stares at you for a while, taking you in. Then she gives you a little smile. Success! What's the quest, my fair lady? She looks away once more. There's a paladin, Lord Gorm of Norvik. Lord Gorm, the last appointed paladin of Earth, one of the original faces of the party of Norvik. He went missing months ago, and many believe he has abandoned his post. Is he in trouble? He's a city paladin. He's lost his way. Completely. Is he here? On Tolstad? She glances towards the pillar. Her look is stern. He is close. She means he's physically close, but spiritually far gone. Or the other way around. I cannot say much, but if I could just have one more chance. She holds back great anger and sadness. If you find him, Ragan, tell him. Tell him, sincerely and with all of my heart, he can go fuck himself. The tone of voice is like the shriek of a banshee. Gorm is not her friend. He's not the one in danger. Who's your friend, then? She is... The elf closes her mouth and shakes her head. She's protective of her friend. A good soul. Where can I find him? She shakes her head. Can you tell me anything that would help me on this quest? Leaning forward, she whispers to you. One thing. Lord Gorm might be lost. She smiles. But you don't have to be. Truth. She looks up towards the clouds, where the pillar disappears into the blue. I will find him, my lady. Thank you. Quest acquired. Well done. Now you just need to find a lost, drunk, famous paladin somewhere in this massive maze of a city. Fun times. What do you know about the tea shop? Sad. What happened? She looks down into the river. I agree. A tragedy. Tea shops are sacred. The elf does not even appear to listen to you. She simply nods and mutters. Are you here to look into the tea shop? More or less, yes. Oh. What do you think happened? Rogue spellcaster. You see the elf look at you with her piercing eyes. Thank you for your service. Cross your arms and look tough. It's no biggie. The elf says nothing and just turns away again. She is grieving. How are you connected with this missing paladin? She shakes her head slowly. Speak with Dead would give better answers than this. You can't talk about that? She nods. Bow your head and leave. You feel a great emotion well up inside as you turn to leave. Hey, cleric, you okay? It's just a lot. He glances out at the horizon. Yeah, sure. I get you. He thinks the view is wonderful as well. The goblin appears to not understand you, while you're simply standing here, staring out across the river, in silent contemplation. This journey will take much. Keep going. Oh! I guess she left. It's dusk now, of day one. Ooh, what's this? The Great Perch of Norvik. Old symbol of an old regime. I can go over here. So that's a tea shop right there. Active machinery inside. Fishing 2, okay. A lobster! Oh, we'll see you, man. What are these? A bunch of site safety rules. Then it says, if broken, contact your local union representative. Up to the roof. Let's see. A letter wedged in between some roof tiles. Resistance note. A piece of paper stuck in between the roof tiles. A handwritten note entitled Important Notice. To resistance members of Tolstad. That sounds like a good organization. Read the note. Tonight's ting is cancelled. Meet up tonight on Water Lane instead. It's time to stop the chant. It's signed by R. The chant? A locally produced newspaper by Asgal authors. Water Lane? You know what Water Lane is, don't be stupid. It's right down below. You know, the underground port, largest port in the city. Closest path is probably through Pillar Crossing. When's this meeting? This evening, it seems. Tonight should mean something like between 1900 and midnight or something. Oh, so right now. Okay, so I can check that out right now. Right. Interesting. Move on. Very. You should support these youngsters. You ever hear about a resistance now? Yeah, the Norvik Resistance or whatever. Minor organization. Basically a bunch of kids, human kids causing trouble. I only know of them because I wiped away some Gallblon graffiti a couple months ago. I went and talked with one of their moms. Nice old lady in East Housing. After that, we didn't have any more trouble. They're nationalists? Nationalists, I think. Bunch of boys. Human boys tend to lean nationalistic for certain reasons. Boys can be non-fascists. It's possible. He shrugs. Sure, anything's possible. I'll stop looking now. Okay. Anything else up here? Can I look in these chimneys? No. Okay, so I guess I should go over there then. Young and dumb. Okay, you hear there's trouble down on Water Lane this evening. Your first day on Tolstad. You should check it out. Some girl was delivering an Asgal magazine on Upper Tolstad. You seemed out of place and talked about going down to Water Lane this evening. You found a note about a Norvikian resistance meeting up on Water Lane this evening. Okay, I think something's happening this evening. Ew, what's this? Something stuck to the gear. Oh, hell no. Stress cube. Cube, slang for gelatinous cube. Gelatinous cube, a mindless yet dangerous cubic ooze. They are near impossible to spot due to their translucent nature and digest anything within their grasp with a horrendously acidic substance. They are common within dungeons used as both guards and cleanup. The cogs keep spinning. But you notice something. A shiny red thing stuck to the inner part of the top wheel. The dedendum. The dedendum. I feel dumb trying to pronounce that. It's called the dedendum. Oh my goodness, I'm not saying that again. You approach the cog and the sticky red thing stuck to it. In the dedendum. Dee-dee-dum? Dedendum. Okay, the thing. I see. It's the radial distance from the pitch circle down to the bottom land. Yes, but the bottom land, also known as the tooth root by some lesser engineers, is the actual flat or curved surface at the very base of that valley. You know this well. Why exactly? You read about it in a book once. It was a very old guide to machinery written before the Coast War. Cool. This might come in handy. Warning. Error occurred in stress cube. Oh! Okay, I'll take a screenshot of that. Maybe report that. I can get that easy then. Yeah, I can get that. Grab the sticky red thing from the cog without losing your fingers. You swipe in a hand and quickly pull it back with the thing. Yes! Smooth as hells. Hey, cool. It's a stress cube. That brings you back. All the kids used to go crazy over these. You know, the ones who called you Apple Boy. Apple Boy. Yeah, this isn't a great childhood memory for me. A toy for a child. A slice of a real gelatinous cube. You could probably sell this for a quick buck next week. Until then, maybe give it a squeeze. Could help out with the nerves. Maybe I will. A translucent, somewhat firm gelatinous cube. These used to be sold as toys/pets. Today they're illegal, probably because they can technically still dissolve human flesh, albeit very, very slowly. Okay. Interesting. Long way to fall. Should be safe. Should be. You glance at the ladder. It's one hell of a climb. What kind of man, no, what kind of human cannot climb a simple ladder for 20 short feet? It would be embarrassing for anyone of any age to fail this. An esoteric tangle leads you astray. Let me put on this cube and this sword, cause I don't want to fail this. You glance at the ladder. Yeah, attempt to climb the ladder. Oh, I didn't have the thing for some reason. Taking a confident step onto the ladder, you begin your climb. You close your eyes as you do so in order to fully immerse yourself in the experience of changing your elevation. Scary. But within a moment, you are at the bottom of the ladder. Gods, you're slow. Can we get moving now? Let's go. The roller mill workers kept more than ledgers in the archive. Incense! Nice! Ooh, Cardamian treats. This must lead to the rest of the roller mill. Doors barred. A wooden door blocks your path. Feel the handle. Oh yeah, Loctite. That must lead to the back office. Haven't been in here before, but I think they closed down a while ago. Heard rumors from some goblins that worked here. I think the owner fired them all out of nowhere. Oh, okay. Interesting. If they close down, why is the mill still spinning? Yeah, that's actually concerning now that I think about it. I'll ask around later. Nothing to worry about now, though. Let me try picking the lock. That... I guess strength doesn't really matter. I can't really get higher than that. Yeah. Alright, let's try picking this lock. What'd you expect, for it to magically open itself? Alright, yeah, plus 3. Hey, let's go! Your fingers work the mechanism with precision. Click, click, click. The lock gives way. The door swings open. You see nothing but black beyond. Can't see a damn thing in here. Cast dancing light. Your light cuts through the gloom. The storage chamber reveals itself. Broken crates, scattered paper, a mess of abandoned equipment. Someone left in a hurry. You notice the ceiling. Several glowstones lie shattered on the floor. The explosion, it must have shaken them loose. Push forward. You wade through the debris. Oh, 10 more XP! This place has been abandoned for some time. Dust covers everything. What a dump. Search for anything useful. You sift through papers and crates. Most of it is worthless. Old receipts, inventory lists. But then you find something. Pick up the document. A notice. Official letterhead. Notice of termination. Collective action violation. You scan the text. The roller mill fired everyone. They tried to form an Asgal union. All workers dismissed, effective immediately. Brutal. That explains why this place is empty. The owner shut down rather than deal with organized labor. The workers deserve better. They did. But the world rarely gives people what they deserve. Tale as old as time. Or at least as old as factory work. I played Disco Elysium. I know how to say this word. It's bourgeoisie bullshit. All the way to the top. See, just like that. Bourgeoisie? He's showing his bleeding heart. Snell is correct. Sadly. Are you getting political with me? Actually, no. It's awful. He shakes his head. Ignore me. I'm getting tired here. You continue deeper into the chamber. Damn, it's a deep-ass chamber. Thought this would just be like an office or something. At the back, you find an office. The owner's private space. Check the desk. Approach the desk. Old papers, ledgers, more termination notices. And then a drawer. Locked, but poorly. Forced open. The drawer slides open with a snap. Inside lies a smooth stone, one with several faces adorned on its sides. It pulses faintly with esoteric energy. A magic item. Examine the stone. You pick it up carefully. Sending pebble. A sending pebble. Sending pebble. A magic item capable of casting a weak version of the sending spell, only reaching targets within a kilometer. Due to it not requiring a magic item, unlike a regular sending stone, it is exceedingly expensive and rare. Oh shit, these are expensive. Pocket the stone. You slip the pebble into your pouch. Yes! Level up, let's go. Time to leave. This place has given you all it can. I'm not finding anything else here. Let's go. Exit the storage chamber. You make your way back through the darkness. What a lovely delve. The cost and spell requirement of sending has created many off-brand versions capable of short-distance messaging. During the Coast War, the Arcanist forces were often equipped with the so-called pebble, a stone capable of casting sending on any familiar target within a kilometer. I like... You know what? This is, Ooh, I can up my wisdom even more, but I don't think that's necessary for now. It become a +6, but this would get my charisma up a bit more, so I think I'll replace it with this tooth. Level up. Ooh. Actually, I think I will upgrade my wisdom here. Yeah, make it a 22. Actually, not maxing out my wisdom to 20. Dude, I'm so wise. My esoteric understanding, empathy, and femininity. I can't speak. Dude, I'm so feminine right now. I can examine it? You hold up the pebble. Please don't bother anyone with that cleric. You think about who you could send a message to. There are few targets you have in mind. So I can use this to send messages to people, right? You can. The Pebble of Sending is a powerful magic item, not quite as versatile as the Stone of Sending. The difference is being, the stone can send to anyone on the current plane of existence. The Pebble has a limit of 1 mile. But it doesn't exactly run out of charges, so use it as much as you want, then sell it later. Send a message to Etter. Hey Etter, what are you doing? Cleric, please do not use that pebble to contact me at your leisure. I'm attempting to work here. The message ends. Send a message to Lady Sageleaf. Hi Lady Sageleaf, I'm working on the tea shop. Just wanted to check in and let you know that everything's going good. What in the fuck are you thinking? You dare send me a pebble message? You must be out of your damn mind, human. The message ends. Send a message to Viscant. It's the cleric. I'm just calling to let you know I've got a pebble sending. Cool, huh? Very cool. The message ends. The things he puts up with. You didn't disturb him now, did you? Put the pebble back in your pouch. I hope not. What do you think of everything, Snell?
Huh?
You approach your companion. Let's get on with it. Do you like roller mills, Snell? I have no opinion on roller mills, cleric. And be careful with that ladder. Well, actually, I already went down it in a pretty badass way, so... Or are you scared of mushrooms? I'm not. A lie. But the mushroom lady said you were. He takes a deep breath. Okay, fine. I don't like them. They're freaky and mushy and smell like mold. Just plain don't like them. But I'm not taking questions on it. So, anything else you want to ask, or can we go? Let's go. Near the water. Don't fall in again. You gotta diss me like that, man. Oh, it's a lobster! A regular non-giant crab. Oh, it's a crab, my bad. You spot a crab on the rock. Official name, Tornian Crawler. It does a little shimmy. Cute! Yes, cleric, that is a crab. Pet the crab. You reach forth, and the crab immediately snips onto your index finger. Huh? Panic. The crab pincers grip your finger hard. Hard. Your index will come off soon. Help. Oh god. 3d4. That could have killed me right there. Get out of the vice grip. Oh no. You bend and you pry, but the crab will not let go. The blood is not flowing. Slowly you will die. No. Cure wounds. Whew. Thank God for that wisdom increase. Please let go, Mr. Crab. It says ... and does not let go. Being polite always helps. Speak with animal would get you out of this much easier. Okay. Okay, that's good. Use your free hand to pry the pincers off your finger. When your index is released, you immediately feel the blood begin to flow once more. Freedom! He was a good little fighter. A good crab. Are you allowed to loiter here? It does not respond. What do you know about the tea shop? It snips with its pincers once. What's that, Krabby? Johnny Longneck blew up the tea shop? Johnny Longneck, infamous pirate captain of the Arcane era, had an airship capable of ransoming the safety of entire cities called the Green Rock. It, along with its captain, was lost on wastes of Old Dimonor around 200 AE. Damn, guess we'll have to find him. Johnny Longneck? Not again! Him and his dastardly plans. Also, I'm joking. Please do not take that seriously. We're not going into Reedsian Waste to seek out Johnny Longneck's crash site. Spoil sport. What are you voting in the election? It makes no noise in reply to your question. Citizen. I'm a little low on spell slots. Can I have some incense? I got 8 more. I can spare some for now. I got no second level spell slots, I think. Unless... Yeah, no, I haven't found any yet. Conquest by river, by land, by heart. A statue of Earth. Who left this here? The never-sleeping docks of Waterlane, right below you. You approach the shrine. And yes, this little figurine does still count as a shrine. Shouldn't I move it? It's like in the middle of the road. No. It just shows him its path. What? This figure of Earth. This is a makeshift shrine meant to stand exactly where it is and where it might go. Ready to serve whoever needs him most. Just like you. I already know all those. Prepare spells? Yeah, no new ones. It's a shame. I saw something right there. These pipes connect with a vast sewer system of Tolstad. Nice outfit, human. A cleric, huh? Bad news. Anything here? No. Oh. The sign says we're closed for today, AR staff. Ferris whiff, Maltadig whiff. The voice is from a primal spirit. Open it. Look to Snow. He gives you a nonchalant half-shrug. It's water lane. There's always something going on here. Open the trash can. As you lift it aside, you immediately see something moving in the pile of shredded documents and old scraps of food. A pair of legs. Simorth? Suddenly jumping out of the pile, with a poof of moldy dust, is a pine cone. Pine cone with limbs. Arminharn! It hands you some leaves while doing a strange, seemingly improvisational dance upon the trash. Did you just hand me trash? Before you're able to do anything about it, the little creature poofs away. One of nature's essential workers. A blessing to meet it in the wild. Disgusting little creature. Okay, those are two very different opinions. As it fades, you see only trash. I've heard about those things. Never seen them, though. What do you know about them? Just what I read in the paper, and what Nessun goes on about. They're called Vatar or something. The Lamplighters Guild had a public spat with them a couple of months back. He points to the lamps behind you. Apparently they mess with the everlasting lights. That's not allowed. The city needs those lights. Sure, I guess we got all the complaints. I get why they were mad, but I think they solved everything once the PCG got involved. And, they're supposed to be all over the garden, too. Not that I've ever seen one. Anyhow, they clearly seem to like you. Let's keep it like that. Just walk away. Okay, I already beheld her. Rolla Malik. Behold. Yeah, let me get my strength. Let me strength max for a second. 15. Okay, it was worth it. Rolla Malik, human earthfolk, level 1 unemployed. Feel that. The next generation, a late-stage teenager representing all young men among the earthfolk. Statistically, it could be worrying. If all young men today feel as lost and unemployed as this one, then everything must be going to shit. At least he's politically active. That might also be a worrying detail. Young men with little to lose and everything to gain are, historically speaking, a common driving force between world-changing conflicts. If the old guard nationalists do not represent them, if Freestraterism does not support them, if Asgalism is way too progressive, then what phrase will these rumblings lead us along? An interesting question. Alright. Let's go see what's going on here. A tense scene. Oh, should I cast it should I have cast a Shield of Faith for this? Shield of Faith. Oh, a cleric. Just in time. 4 young guys, each looking a bit nervous. Except the angry-looking blonde kid. We've confiscated the illegal goods, he says and bows his head. For the city! He turns his head towards one of the kids behind him. How's it going, Earthness? I'm trying. Holding on. Are you militia? The blonde kid shakes his head. I'm Rollo, the blonde kid says and takes a bow. Rollo Malik, at your service. Behind me are Earthness, Stenbuskin, and Toli. We're members of the Northvikian Resistance, a movement to... You're thieves! And ignorant book burners. Their girl adjusts her spectacles and straightens her back. I'll get some water. Been yapping for over an hour. With all due respect, Mr. Cleric, she says, don't believe a word from these thugs. You notice the 2 other girls behind her. A halfling and a dwarf both look at each other. Assholes? Careful, it's an actual cleric. Thugs? Come on, Modissa. Really? Like the AY aren't just a bunch of ruffians. I've seen enough, the goblin whispers to you in sighs. Just act if it's clashing. Ask Snell. The AY? As Gallus youths. See your green armband? Hello everyone, I'm the cleric. They've stolen, she hisses, then turns Rollo to bark out. You stole our entire Waterling delivery. There's no denying it now, you are a cleric. Sweet. Yeah, sure, of an illegal newspaper. Lord Cleric, I assure you we're doing the city a favor here. I take that back. She's a bunch of larpers. I see. It's a lover's quarrel. What? No! He's blushing. The girl gives you an incredulous frown, and she's disgusted. That's not... Cleric, focus. Lord Cleric. Wait a second. No, I need to correct something here. I'm not actually a cleric. You're not? The guy behind him starts to stutter out. What are you then? Like, what? I'm actually a badass rogue. A what? You know, sneaky scout or whatever. Ridiculous. She mutters to herself and presses her face into her hands. A better rogue would have gotten a better reaction, he thinks. So we shouldn't call you a cleric then? No. For legal reasons, you can keep calling me Cleric. The blonde kid just nods slowly. He does not understand you. Lord Cleric? I dig it. I'm the Lord Cleric. Well, I just said I was a rogue. Okay, so I'm Oh, hold on. Are you kids even allowed to be out this late? Both sides look at you with frowns. The Cleric in you stirs with quiet confidence. Look, I have a hard time seeing how old humans are as well, but these are clearly young adults, even if they're not acting their age. Ooh, sick burn. Hey, shut up, Goblin. Your companion grits his sharp fangs in the blonde kid's direction. Hey, kid. Wanna die? Keep talking. Oh my goodness. Gah. He takes a step back. You're here to uphold the law, right? So arrest these assholes. Now. The dwarf grabs her hand and holds her back. Modissa, calm down. Please. You. Explain your side. Point at the Asgal girl. She scoffs. Okay, fine. Her dwarven hand mutters, Modissa, in a concerned tone. We deliver papers for the Asgalian chant. Maybe you've heard of it. It's a pretty big deal. He chuckles. The paper is not terribly popular, but it is known for radical articles and political stances. He draws a sharp breath. We have a busy schedule, and right as we started delivering the papers on Waterlane, these pieces of shit start following us, taking papers we just delivered right out of people's mailboxes. That's illegal, right? Asked the halfling girl. Somewhat illegal. Of course it's illegal. She does not care for your opinion on the legality of mail theft. How rude. And then they grab one of our paper stacks from Zerba. Like, straight up assault and theft, and Modissa, it wasn't... They can't get away with this. It probably was not that bad. Poor girl. Point at the nationalist boy. Okay, you. What's going on here? First of all, thank you for listening to reason. I know we look like some dumb kids, but we're not. Something about his expression makes you think the exact opposite. Burning the written word does nothing to dispel such a notion. He gestures towards you and then to himself. We're on the same team here. I don't look dumb. Stop stalling, tell me what you're doing. Give him a hug. Okay, I'll give him a hug. The boy physically clenches his entire posture up into a defensive stance as you move toward to embrace him. In a manly hug. Huh? Whisper, we're in this together, brother. What am I doing? Okay, release the hug. The blonde kid backs away from you with a bewildered look on his face. He does not get hugged often. Oh boy, they're going at it. The halfling lets out a cheer. Kiss! Kiss! Modissa scoffs. Right out of Skyline, boys. Ugh. The spell was useful! That makes you feel bad. So, we heard about the Asgal chant being delivered on Tolstad. Or I did, at the guild. I work at the fishery, and I see every... You're fucking unemployed! I saw it in your behold check. I clocked your ass. You're unemployed. You're a level 1 unemployed man. And I see every day how Earthfolk get radicalized by dwarven nonsense. So I figured I'd get the boys with me, and we'd, you know, put a stop to it. You want to stop the production of a copper paper? We couldn't figure out where the thing was printed or anything. A lot of copper press signs don't really have official companies behind them. Especially trash like the chant you hear coming from the short kid in the back. Go fuck yourself, Tully. Hey, relax. I'm telling our story here to the good Lord Cleric. He turns back to you and coughs once. Of course, it's illegal to distribute unlicensed papers in every official district. So I asked around. Apparently someone saw these girls at the university going around, delivering it. It wasn't that difficult to figure out. It was Modissa doing the deliveries. Fucking Modissa.
Huh?
He's not allowed to do that, the large kid in the back says with a nod. Wait, you guys know each other? There's history here? Yeah. Back in school, everybody knew who Modissa was. The Asgalist annoyance, the blonde kid says with a grin. Such a terrible nickname. Unimaginative and boring. Also, fuck you. Anyway, that's how we got here. They're delivering an illegal magazine, and we've put a stop to it. He grins wide and proud. What does the law say about this conflict? The Asgal chant, or whatever silly name its anomalous publisher gave it, is not licensed for distribution in Tolstad. Requiring licenses for public distribution is a typical method to repress journalistic content in Norvik. At the same time, it is also illegal to steal delivered newspapers from mailboxes, even if those papers are delivered illegally. That's a lot of illegalness. Both are in the wrong? In different ways, yes. Although it's clear that the boys are bullies and the girls are victims. I could just charm one of them, right? That'd be a solution. Tell them you made up your mind and then cast it on one of them. Do I? What are you guys voting in the election? Not the time, Snell says, rubbing his eyes. Yeah, it's 8 p.m. at night, and we're solving a in this situation. The Workers' Party, she says. Duh. Same for me. The dwarf raises her hand carefully. Yeah. And those stupid boys are obviously voting for the party of Norvik. No, we're not. None of us are. Yeah, fuck that. What? Yeah, no. The silent kid in the back raises his fists into the air. Fuck the establishment. Rollo nods to the cleric. There are deeper forces at work here. Divine forces. I see. You're also voting as gals then? Same. What? No. Oh, you're free striders? Very cool. What? Of course not. Fuck the free striders the most of all. You should support the city kid. Oh, we are, but you should obviously vote for me. What? Are you on the ballot? No, just write the cleric on your voting. Actually, no wait. One day. This is funnier. Clench your fist. Okay, but no, I just changed my political stance like twice. Let's go. Give me that XP. What? You're not voting for anything? Indeed. We're not voting at all. Not a bad choice considering this mess. You're apolitical? That's impressive. I'm also apolitical. I don't engage with politics. Apolitical? That's not a thing. It's a thing. What? Really? My aunt's apolitical. She says it's too much to think about with democracy. She liked it when Earth ruled. My dad says the same, but he'll be voting for the nationalists. Oh, that's what my aunt does too. Maybe she's not apolitical. Guys, focus. We, the blonde kid says, gesturing to his three friends, we are fighting the evil powers, ready to establish a true resistance to anti-human sentiment. For Earth. The girl with the creased brow sighs loudly. That sounds like a conspiracy! Uh-huh. The blonde kid looks to his left and right. Right on. Okay, I've come to a conclusion. Move on. Good, she says and nods. She's hiding a nervous expression. Great. Good. She's outwardly very nervous. Approach the blonde kid, see if you can get these nationalists to back off. Approach a girl with the spectacles to check if you can argue against these Asgals. Isn't there a compromise to be found here? Perhaps, but you must engage in a deep meditative form of empathy in order to achieve it. I mean, that's decent. I have advantage, and I have a +6, so... There we go. It is time for a compromise. Both of you, listen up. Your calm and determined voice rings across the street. Tell the girls, you can't deliver your paper. Then tell the boys, and you can't steal it. But you can't deliver it. That's what I've been saying, Dave, and you can't take it. Just listen to him. Come on. The blonde kid grits his teeth, then he grabs a stack of papers and tosses it across. Oof! Medusa grunts as she catches it. Then she immediately turns to you. What do you mean? We have every right to no delivering without a license. Fine. The boys quickly disperse, muttering among themselves. Don't, the dwarf girl tells Medusa as she strolls up to you. Hey, Mr. Cleric, you know we're just gonna deliver these anyway, right? Just do it a bit later so that blonde kid doesn't notice. As you answer, she turns and walks away. Well, you sure made the problem go away, somewhat. Let's get out of here. Go. Is that important enough quest for a feat? Let's go. And I resolved it. I'm the best cleric, rogue, wizard in all of Norvik. Trouble brewing. Young woman running around the streets, slinging Asgallus propaganda to unsuspecting citizens. Boys causing chaos in the name of some hapless magazine-inspired rebellion. This cannot be tolerated. It really can be. What? What? The city will be fine, don't worry about it. That kind of looseness will bring order to its knees. It's all... The Asgell used to nothing to warrant such pushback. This era is one of communication. Ideas interchanged freely between a populace of free-minded thinkers, folk dreaming of an egalitarian potential. However, the problem lies with the unfortunates who break in sear Folklarian thought with reckless unkindness. Or not Folklarian, sorry. Folklarian, concerned with their seeking to promote the welfare of all around the coast. You must pray for them, beg of them, to please stop being so mean. Do you think that would work? One can wish. Those boys might be unkempt and rough, but they are proud citizens of a great city. They are performing a service, albeit a crude one beyond the realm of law. But the youth Asgals, they're even more unlawful, to a much steeper degree. Steeper? Steeper. How do you calculate that degree of unlawfulness? Entirely through the morality of their behavior, which means feelings. Feelings. Yes, you are feeling like the boys are in the right. What has happened here is a complication upon society, a representation of the wider culture. Young men are drawn towards the rough, downtrodden world of the dreamers, the hope of national unity through an Earthian story, one of leadership and honor. But without that guiding star, there is no such singularity, no control, no wise king to bend the knee to. Instead, those boys are simply expressing pain through violence, enacted onto those who are attempting to craft a more caring future. That is, young women. They, as opposed to young men, are drawn towards a more social type of unity, with welfare and Asgalian flattened hierarchical structures. Beyond Asgal himself, who is by his function also a male figure, it is to womanly people you shall look towards. Lady Fair is one. The halfling god? Yes, Lady Fair and those not. The walking god who gave everything to save her people. Lady Fair and those not. A young halfling leads her clan through a mountain pass and defends it for 3 days and 3 nights. She is known to be responsible for the founding of the Four Nip Commonwealth. Four Nip Commonwealth, the United States of Halfling Land in Western Ascan, also known as the Clan Lands. They are allies of Norvik in the early days of the conquest. Today, the relationship is strained after Norvik refused to aid them against the Golden Horde. Her words are few, but spread far across the coast. Her church is quite active among Norvikian society as an organization of charity, one open to all folk no matter their origin. An egalitarian dream. This is why women, as harsh as it is to say, are simply more suited for Norvikian leadership. Lady Fair makes it clear. A house led by women stands any season. I agree. Women clearly build a more thoughtful and caring world for us all. I feel like a good man for thinking such egalitarian things. There's something so powerful about dreams. Ideas spreading from man to woman, woman to man. But this Asgalian dream is not a blessing. It is a smile wrought in pain, a vision of 1,000 layers of intersected nets and labels, tangling every person, stirring them into oppressor or oppressed. And there is oppression. There are unfair hierarchies. The world is corrupt, but not fundamentally. If these boys are pushing back against Asgalism, that is only natural. It is an ideology which pushes a foundational belief that they are, naturally, oppressively superior. If a young man grows up in squalor, finding zero advantages from him being a man among patriarchs, nor any power from being a human, especially if he grows up within non-human clusters, something many of the poorest humans do. When he is unable to find a job at age 19 and has almost no political, societal, or economic power in his life, which dream do you think he would believe in? The one calling him to fight to reclaim what is by his right, a good life as a future patriarch, or the one calling him an oppressor? It does not call him an oppressor. That is an unfair reading. Asgalism is about systemic change. That young man is trapped in the same cycle of violence that all men themselves, since the dawn of time, find themselves at since the dawn of time. That he must fight. That he must be a patriarch to have that good life. Asgalism would lay the foundation that allows him to be free from these burdens. He would be free to find that job, that good life, with the same prospects as everyone else. That foundation is laid by raising women to the forefront, by allowing them to flatten our hierarchies and bring about a new world. Oh my goodness. No, I don't care about men or women. I'm an equal hater. We all suck. I suppose if a man already has it pretty terrible in a world where he's supposed to be at the top, then a world where his advantage, yeah, I'll say, look, I want what's best for everyone, but I want what's best for women too, because that's included in that. I guess this option, I suppose if a man already has it pretty terrible in a world where he's supposed to be at the top, then a world where his advantages are going to seem even worse. That is, again, the unfair reading, yes. You can think of it as unfair, you can think of it as a clear message. You need to come to the realization that the one every boy reaches towards the late stages of the capitalistic, pubertistic, and socialist awakenings that No, not at all. It's only your placement you must understand. Figure out where you planted these 2 feet of yours, and accept where your bones will begin their incessantly slow grindish into the pavement. Learn more. Steel yourself. Seek love. Be more. Realize your place in the world, or suddenly understand gender? I don't understand gender. No, no. This is far more complicated than you ever could have imagined. So many relations, so many intersectional divergences. How a man who feels feminine connects in the hierarchy with a woman who feels womanly but acts manly in order to fit among patriarchal standards. Only be controlled by a manly woman who seeks feminine ideals in order to break those same standards. It is simply too much for you to make sense of. To break down, to sample even an inch of the truth from the whole. No one said this whole egalitarian thing was going to be easy. That is true. But this is far too much for you, right now at least. Maybe it is only your side of the aisle which you have any hope of understanding this day. To know man in order to know woman, then, yes. Everyone lay upon your spectrum, each judged for their perceived and internalized values. You're approximately 0.52 decimals across the line into masculinity. That is, in less abstract definition, a little over halfway to being a full man. Sorry, what? Slightly over halfway, yes. Can I disagree on this, or opinion are fleeting? Facts are firm. It is not ideal. Does that mean I'm... gasp, a woman? Of course not. And do not react like some sensitive wimp. The feminine is a beautiful ideal by itself. Fearing it, fearing your position on the spectrum, is weakness by itself. The average man is, if you think back to your ability to sniff out manhood, usually placed around 0.50 decimals of masculinity. That makes you 0.02 more average than the average. More man than the average man. That's not halfway then. Halfway to being the most manly, yes. You're approximately averagely decent middle ground manly. A normally sized manhood inside of a perfectly median shaped man. Inside? Inside. Your manhood inside of you. Doesn't manhood mean, what are you speaking of? Genitalia? Oh, no. Manhood is a concept, an idea, a feeling of masculinity hidden within your body. It is not the actual thing. That'd be ridiculous. Are you sure about that? Of course. Now, you will choose. What? You know the truth, so choose a side. Tell me more about Lady Fair. The halflings built a religion out of feminine love. You can do something similar. Extra proficiency in roles and speaking with feminine characters. Tell me more about future patriarch. A brotherhood, a patriarchy, a good and just world. It is within your grasp. With extra proficiency in roles and speak with the masculine characters. Okay. So it says feminine and masculine. So technically, if I just talk to like a feminine man, I'd get proficiency. Okay. What should I choose? Like, which one would be the most useful? Oh wait, it explains in that one. Okay. In all honesty, you must think of this as a representation of your future struggles. In other words, the person who blew up the tea shop, the one you must discover. Will it be a man or a woman? It could be either. A man. A sorcerer would surely be able to sling such esoteric force, but a man is more likely to enact it. What does feminine and masculine mean in this context? It means where the target lands on your gender spectrum. They will always be on one side of this esoterically decided middle point. If you disagree with that judgment, take it up with yours. This is the probable outcome, yes. But do not always assume that gender placement of a target. The world is often more complicated than you initially imagine. I'm ready to make a decision. Do so. Stand tall. Do not be afraid. Lady Fair, it is done. The feminine has entered your body, your soul, your blood. Be kind to all. Be slightly less confused about gender. I don't know, I failed that check. So my 2 feats are I make money and I understand women. Got it. A street sign that says Upper Waterlane View, Lower Waterlane Docks. Democratic propaganda. It says S. Yellen and Sons. Isn't this where I have to be? You approach the door. Bookbinder, you got business here? Of course. I have a deep love for books, Snell. That's fun. Didn't expect that considering everything. I'm not a big reader myself, but I indulge occasionally. You sound surprised. That's rude. Very rude. What? Did you think I don't like books? I'm a professional and highly esoterically minded cleric. Of course I love books. Be offended. Are you upset? He cracks a smile. Others are starting to notice the cleric in you. Like, genuinely? Slightly, yes. Make grumpy cleric noises. The goblin stifles a laugh. Well, maybe we shouldn't stand here talking in front of his shop. You knocking or we leaving? Knock on the door. Within seconds of the knock, the slit on the door slides open. But beyond, you see a pair of large yellow eyes glaring at you. Heyo, is this pest control? Eyes quickly tilt to the left. No. Oh. The eyes push closer to the slit on the door. As they do, a bush of gray feathers pokes out. A bird folk. A cleric? No, I'm a wizard. The birdman behind the door ruffles his feathers. Shen Yellen is my name. If you're not pest control, I need nothing from you. Please leave. I have a ruined prayer book. Can you fix it? Prayer book? Yes, I've seen quite a few. Drop inside, I'll take a look. Drop it in. Yes, horrible. Salt water. Less swollen. You could have avoided the worst of this if the drying process had been handled better. I'll rebind this foul mess for you. Are you sure you can do it? It's pretty ruined. Of course. What do you take me for? I'll need guidance on the direction of the rebinding. The spells inside are lost. However, the style and formatting can be saved. Using my skills, I can aim at something from the towers which would be most similar to the original work. I can also focus on the rebinding it in the style of a druidic ledger, or perhaps a grimoire of the dark and forbidden arts. Forbidden magic? Isn't that illegal? Hence the name. I'm a registered spellcaster in your city. That's what annoying words sound. It gives me the rights to handle any magical components and tools, no matter the outcome, as long as I do not cast it myself. This is your law written. Sounds profitable. It is indeed. You know druidic stuff? I have many customers, including the various druids of the city. They have an aversion to modern practices themselves. Hence, my services are well appreciated. Have you worked on many clerical tools? Yes. I am not an official merchant of the towers, but many come to me for better prices and better service. Despite how little most clerics enjoy working with my kin. That's terrible. I'm not like those other clerics, I promise. I do not care. I am not your friend. Now make a choice. You know what? I want to be full of forbidden magic. That I will do. Return tomorrow, not while the sun rises. I'm either resting or working intently during those hours. Sun, the light of the day, the great source of power that moves alone across the sky over the day. It follows a different pattern of movement in each band and with different intensities. In Ascani, it is small and moves quickly. Anything else you want, or will you leave me to work? Have you finished my prayer book yet? The owl beyond the door goes silent for a few seconds, his yellow eyes gazing at you. Judgmental. That is what he looks like. You, Tentan, do you suffer from memory loss? Maybe in an esoteric sense, but no. The owl sighs. Come back tomorrow and consider seeing a professional for your erratic behavior. Perhaps you should. You want to go drink at the tavern later? No. Are you a scholar? Oh, you're interested in the arts. It's kind of my job, yeah. I was trained in the knowledge, back in the Three Wings. I know many things. Three Wings, the name of the birdfolk tribes that ruled Farinland and Divinitorum. They unified 57 years ago and created a sovereignty based on Asgalian ideas. They were subjugated by the Golden Horde 32 years ago. But no time to talk or share. Busy. If you want scholarly teachings, just speak with my upstairs neighbor. That gnome never stops talking. Who? Just go upstairs. His door's always open. Why do you need help from the Pest Control Guild? Rats. Oh. They are awful. Keep spawning out of the sewer pipes. Yeah, the PCG should really take care of that. Yes. He lets out an angry bird noise. But that bastard guild leader, Torlim Slip, keeps telling me they don't have time. No time? They have a dozen teams running around the city. No time? I've heard the big problem is that they cannot get anyone to do pest control missions at 1-star levels. The PCG has a ranking system based on the danger of any particular pest they handle. Of course, rats would be a 1-star problem. The Athways. We haven't relied on the PCG for years. They just don't have time for anything over 2-star danger ranking. It is very annoying. I've looked into it, and the problem is, the pest control teams that join the guild only take on 1-star missions for a couple of weeks. Then they quickly start focusing only on the higher paying tasks. While the actual normal pests keep on spreading throughout the city. It is a ridiculously idiotic system. So while all the mimics and monsters keep getting slain, nothing is done about these darn rats. The Pest Control Guild using a legendary poor design. Pest Control Guild, one of the oldest guilds in Norvik. They're supposed to keep monsters at bay and clean up any unwanted critters across the city. These days, they're so bogged down in requests from citizens in the city that they usually have backlogs for months. Entirely due to being a public thing, of course. Had it been privatized from the start. The bird takes a few breaths after his rant. Worst part, my nephew has a team himself. The White Doves, they're called. And I've tried sending messages to him also, but he just says the same thing. Too busy, too busy. I could join the Pest Control Guild. The owlman scoffs. Sure, and then you go and take on all the big and scary monsters that crawl up into the city, ignoring all the actual pests just to get a payday. No way. I worked my ass off trudging through the sewers catching rats for barely nothing payout, all for the satisfaction of a hard day's work. Really? Yes, I'm that good of a guy. Well, if everyone was like you, the city would be a better place. Tell me more about your nephew. He calls himself Valerian Windrider. That is the Norvikian way of saying his name. Oops. He's also active within that Freestrider party if you're interested in throwing a vote for one of my fellow Alkin. He works with one of those filthy Yobas, which I'm not happy about. Oh, and a halfling. A cleric, in fact. The Lady Fairchurch. I've heard of that church. Over in Helsing, right? That's the one. I think they're connected with an orphanage. I can take a look at it. It does sound like a quest. If you do, I would be very happy. The rats seem to come from the from the sewers connected with the city below. Well, good luck with that. Think about it. Thank you. Thank you for your time. Torna, the first of the river gills. A dwarf gazes across the dark yard. Deep groaning, the bell of water. A cleric? Sorry, I'm busy. Found a bookbinder. Fix your prayer book. 250 crowns? Do I have that much? I only have 184 right now, so I'll have an entire day basically to get 70 more. No one can dismiss the dwarf's architectural genius. Excluding the anti-magic messaging, Freestriderism comes with great branding. One of the many Freestrider impounds in the city. Top entrance of the Ascani Reach Trading Company. Closed, large shut. I want to get in. Grounds. Alright. We wear those fangs and the rest too. You approach a ball of feathers and wings and really, really sharp claws. A magnificent creature. This is a griffin. It is a somewhat intelligent magical beast. Griffin, a famous magical beast of Old Diminor. Terribly useful mount, used by those with the funds to support their breeding and taming. Most famously by the Sturm Riders. Sturm Riders, a group of highly skilled griffin riders. These days they are employed by several free cities of reeds. You will require to speak with animals to communicate properly, of course. Speak with animals! A first level divination spell. Grants you the ability to comprehend and verbally communicate with beasts. These conversations can be surprisingly insightful. You see a pool of drool forming underneath the open beak of the beast. Wait, look behind it. There's an entrance to the warehouse on the other roof. If you want to get inside, you're gonna have to get past this bad boy. The mythical beast snores gently before you. I don't even want to ask what the plan is here. What a majestic creature, Snell. Don't you want to pet it too? No, no thank you. And seriously, be careful. I'm not cleaning up your guts if that thing skewers you. Okay, hold on. I want to eat an apple and pet it, see what happens. I'll save too, just in case. Attempt to pet the beast. You go in and... pet. Oh no. A light tap. God damn it! You hear your companion yelling, rushing down the street. Land. Ah! Pain. The bones in your body cracking. Hard ground merging with your flesh. But you live. Ugh. Almost got it. That did not go so well. Perhaps another method shall work better. Gods be damned! What were you thinking? You hear Snell yell at you as he comes running down the street. The goblin eventually makes it down to you, gasping for air. It's good you're alive, but seriously, isn't there a saying about not waking a sleeping griffin? Don't do that again. Ouch. It's closed for the day. Is there anything down here? Stairs down to the bustling docks. Well, I guess I can't go down to the bustling docks. Alright. Wake the... Oh, no. I'm gonna try it anyways. This is a terrible idea. I'm gonna try it. Hey! Let's go! How does one wake a sleepy, grumpy creature? Hug it? Not immediately, though. The answer is simple. You sing. Clear your throat excited. Huh? Cleric. Goblin hisses at you and points at the claws. Sharp. A little lullaby will do. Oh, little birdie, spread your wings. Don't be afraid of the deep, dark things. Crawling and creeping and being so sad. Being so bad. Everybody wants you to not be sad. I have a beautiful voice. In the game. I hate listening to my voice in real life. Oh, so you can get past now. The beast didn't slash your throat. Yet. Wonderful. Thank you, Griffin. It yawns in a way you didn't think creatures with beaks could do and gives you a very tired look. I can't believe that worked. I can't believe you're alive. The goblin mutters under his breath as he too slowly shimmies past the beast. Sometimes it pays off to be handsome and talented. Pet the bird. Not a bird. Pet the dangerous monster. Better. You reach forth and the griffin snaps at you with its beak. Its eyes say, "Cut that shit out, biped." Not a fan, huh? Thank you for your time. Okay, so I can get through now. Sweet. A crate full of ruined fizzy drinks. One of them seems fine to drink. Vizcod ginger drink. A refreshing beverage blessed by divinity. Why else would it burn so good? Grants a minor constitution increase for a week? I need to find more of those. I need to find more of those. The note on these crates is signed, your loyal servant, Agent Vera. Get these into the warehouse by tomorrow. I will hold you personally responsible, Godfred. That was awesome. So if I find another one of those, or do I have any items that increase my constitution? No, it doesn't seem. I have this, but it decreases my wisdom and dex. I'd rather have those two increased. Can I go in here? Office of Snur Appledent PM. No. Children's drawings on the wall. A scholarly commendation of the four-nip Commonwealth. Almost dead, but not yet. Something's at the bottom. Coins? Yes! Something stuck between the pages. Cardium Treat and Dream Patch. Small amounts of pixie essence incorporated into a sticky patch can be used to recover third level spell slots. Okay. What else? A collection of books, political notes. What does it say for Scholar Snurch Appledent? Alright, so I know nothing about this man. Is there anything else in this room? There's quite a lot. A magical quill and paper. I would've... Okay, well, it wouldn't have made a difference, but... Alright, let's see. Tiny Dictator. An unseen servant magically tuned to a feather pencil and paper. It'll write down everything spoken within 10 feet. The content that's spelled wrong. Disappears with the page as it writes. The servant can follow commands to write down specific topics, keep the notes in a certain style, or focus on his chosen person's words. These are very common in the halls of the palace, where words can ruin lives or worse careers. Advantage against bureaucrats. Okay. Let's see. I guess here, nothing seems too esoteric. Is it following me around? That's sick. You see a collection of books from the philosophy canon, none of which you were really able to understand. Next to them, a line of famous political books, as Gallus' Theory, Hedonist, The Dark Book of Shadow, Alexandro, and more. Alexandro, someone your patriarch quotes a lot. His ideas modernized theocracies and breeds, reviving them towards the end of the Arcane era. This scholar's good taste. Oh god, I can be here all night. Open The Folk by Alexandro. Alexandro. This is the first book placed in your hands as an Earthfolk recruit. Open it. Look inside. It's an old, worn copy of that same text. Musings about the divine era of great walking gods and theocratic states. A history lesson morphing into a series of guidelines, how modern leaders, as a response to the drawn-out Coast War, should return to the old. The proven, the organized, the divine. Although written from the perspective of not faith nor service to the holy, but rather that of service to the state. A modern theocratic vision, the nation as an entity not bound by the protection and lifetime of its god. Instead, the nation-state will survive on unifying cultural traits passed down from that god to his people. This, Alexandra writes, will fasten them into the earth, creating firm groundings for the states to exist beyond any others. The later chapters go on to describe his dream of a millennium empire, his grand plan, a nation to survive the passing of eras. A collection of ideas he gathers in this dream. An ideology structured around an order. Whether the weakness of monarchy, the chaos of democracy, or the esoteric dependence of magocracy. The Millennium Empire. The fascist ideal. Fascist. A follower of fascism. Fascism, an ideology born during the Coast War, formed out of Alexandro's dream of a long-lasting empire, born out of the fallen theocracies of reeds. Fascism, the ideology of nationalism, born during the fall of the magocracies in Old Dimonor. The term originates from the Gnomish fascisa, which means something akin to a collection of warriors. So fascism isn't cool. So I know it's a fantasy setting where things are different, but I don't want to risk. I mean, like, fascism is not cool. So where's a negative option? Dangerous ideas. Fascism has led many cities astray and reeds. Whatever your thoughts are, this book used to reshape the city. You know well how effective it is. Just remember, it was written by a gnome. It was what? Alexandra was a gnome. He tried using the so-called Fasci di Condottieri, the great mercenary warlords of Old Dimonor, to bring order to the neglected parts of the band. He was, however, ultimately destroyed by the same warlords he created, when his followers failed in their coup of Savalny. Ironically, the responsible squad reportedly did not realize who they had killed first. They had simply been hunting down any non-humans in the city. This was not openly spoken about during your training. But yes, it is true. Something to ponder. His follower, that is indeed very ironic. Indeed it is. His followers misunderstood his message then. If a message is misconstrued, is that the fault of the reader or the writer? Both. Yes. It is both. Put the book away. You close it and place it back in its spot. Open A Blind Manifesto by the Hedonist. The book. The book. Always listen to your hungry stomach, it says, with big ugly letters on the first page. You should listen to the book, and the stomach. This wonderful manual. Same as always, the book begins with a tirade about property ownership. Then on the 5th page you find a diagram showing how to ritualistically summon a demon. It's incorrect, however, on purpose supposedly. The purpose is metaphoric criticism of authoritarian governments. The rest is a series of extreme essays on the topics of hedonism, rejection of statehood, free association, maximizing sensation, direct democracy, and reciprocal exchange. It paints up an image of an ideal world where all can live without strife simply through the cooperation and love of all things. A loving image, communally loving. Made illegal in many cities after its release in 466 AE, this rambling text has survived for one reason or another. Look at the chapter on free love. You flip to pages 52. You remember it well. It has pictures. Tiny scribbling, something akin to stick figures positioned in various and wrapped unities. You remember the words well. The guide on how to make ultimate sensations of flesh. Kinda hot, in a sad way. Close the book. Reading filth like this will only darken your mind. Put the book away. The hedonists are back on the shelf. Hedonists, an arcanist movement spawned towards the end of the Coast War. They dealt with abyssal forces and somehow published the Hedonists, an instructional booklet that made its way across the coast. Open Memoirs of a Statesman by Nicholas Darrow. The first pages are devoted to rambling texts about the history of governing, from ancient texts from various beasts of yore to the gods of the arcane era to several arcanist figures. Darrow then smoothly moves on to conflate their accomplishments with its own. Especially since he also includes an explanation of his lineage, that he is a direct firstborn grandson of Borgo Darrow, the first paladin of Earth. It is not so subtle. The many, many pages go on to describe both practical but mostly theoretical methods a statesman should use when dealing with the populace, the bureaucracy, and the ideologies of modern life. You haven't read this before. Luckily, you don't have time to do so now either. Generally, the book has a rather tough tone about democracy. A quote you've heard before from this book pops up towards the end. Those who believe in democracy have a wonderful view of folk, to think them capable of making rational and informed decisions devoid of personal bias and emotional conduct. From what you remember, it caused quite the stir when it came out 2 years ago. Quite anti-democratic. No wonder people were upset to have a magistrate use such terrible language. Put the book away. You do so. Open The Dark Book of Shadow by the Shadow Lord. You pick up the black-covered tome. A faint tingle goes through your gloved hand. That's the most evil book I've ever seen. How'd they even get the cover to be that black? It's like a void. Thickened graphene. That is how they create the darkness on the cover. A memory lingers in this tome. A memory. If you open it, you shall recall. Put the book away. What the hell? What do you... I'm gonna eat some apples and read that, because that sounds very ominous. Open it despite its evil nature. The text is not dangerous. The pages show but a holy scripture of the Shadow Lord's lost religion, one of eternal servitude and search for life and death. However, you remember it well. This is the first book you were ordered to study, as punishment for your idiotic behavior at the towers. You remember your first journey towards the esoteric. No way! Please tell me I can recall it. However painful it was, to know beyond any doubt how alone you truly are. Blurred faces, hushed whispers, a crowd of thoughtful peers each snickering about your hand, a raised hand among a crowd of sheep. Patriarch, it's not just a religious text. They stare at you. It's a spell book. Those were the words. Oh, how they laughed. He asked you to prove yourself, so you did. I went up to the Patriarch. I took the Book of Shadow. Yes, then yes. Memorize Detect Alignment. You memorize it on the spot. Then you cast that ancient spell, once used by the Death Knights of the Shadow Lord to subjugate and control the minds of his people. A spell that is, despite its first level, not learned by most clerics until they grasp the intricacies of higher tier casting. Everyone was left stunned by your excellence. To not only master such a spell, but to do so in seconds instead of days. That moment, it was yours. From that moment, you marked your place at the towers as the greatest spellcaster, the greatest talent among them all. However, as always, the weak fear the strong. That moment also began your ostracization. You would never be among them, never have peers. None would see you as a brother, in any way as a brother or a comrade. I would be an enemy. You are, and you shall continue to be. Gasp for air. Your vision is blurry. It is filled by the pages of that book. It is a good one despite its religious fervor. As many say, the Shadow Lord was as much as an early arcanist as he was the greatest of the walking gods. Close the book. Detect alignment. For an instant, any creature of the types aberration, celestial, elemental, fey, fiend, or undead will be clearly indicated to you. Additionally, any behold check will reveal the creature's alignment in accordance to your strings. The spell affects all creatures in the current area. Do I know his alignment? So, if I go prepare this spell at the shrine, then cast it, I can know their alignment. Both their alignments then, right? Or do I have to be in active conversation with them? Because the spell does say, in the area. Cool art for this spell, by the way. Okay, so the reason why I'm able to know so much about them is, am I tapping into your strengths? Because when I behold? Because that'd be interesting if I was. True neutral. Neutral good. Okay, so this guy's true neutral. Take a step into the cramped office, standing in front of a sleeping halfling. This is a scholar? Curse the gods. Go infest his book collection before waking that lazy halfling. Can I... Okay, I can't steal from him. I already did. Good forenoon, citizen. Oh, he mutters and widens his bushy eyes. His confused gaze focuses on you. Life is pain. What? Terrible, terrible pain. No, he mutters and rubs his face. The wrinkles fold over one another like waves on a storied sea. Are you? He looks at you with his weary expression, then he rubs his nose and sniffs twice. Are you here for the invoice? A quick glance at Snell. His words come out in a stilted halfling accent. What? The invoice! Lean over to Snell. Should I have an invoice? No. No? No? Oh. Oh, hold on. I already paid that invoice. You're here for something different. He leans in, facing Snell. I hope Queen Goblin has no quarrel with this old scholar? He holds up a palm. Nah, we're here on city business. I'm exploring random buildings and yours was unlocked. That's not... So, you're a trespasser of benevolent intent. I guess that's not too far off. Curiosity is absolutely vital for keeping the old brain in motion, so I commend you, cleric. Almost missed it, tung sahur. What did I almost miss? Also, what's up, Snuck? Alive? Oh yeah. Nice to see you again. Who's pinging me? Oh, it's someone's birthday. Happy birthday to them. And you as well, my goblin friend. He looks around grunting. Can I get either of you some fucking water, or... He wields he wields swear words like coastal winds. You like this guy. He's like a rabid bog with... A rabid bog? He's like a rabid dog without the biting, so far. No thank you, your companion replies very quickly. You're Scholar Appledant, right? Me? Yes. I'm Snur Appledant, he says and bows his head in the chair. Scholar of Fordnip University, and dedicated service to the progress of AIS. AIS, short for Alignment Intent Studies. It's a very specialized field of study that focuses on the esoteric effect of alignment, its practical uses, and the various ways to interact with it. But what exactly do you do? Many things. Primarily, my expertise lands on the topic of alignment and its many historical and contemporary applications. Some bullshit, I will tell you. These days, I mostly deal with other forms of study. Specifically, I run this office here on the experimental technique of psychoanalysis. What kind of magic is that? No magic at all, although there have been some detect thoughts involved at some point in the development. It's a form of mind healing, as I call it. I'll be one to call it support instead. It is essentially the idea that the mental present is shaped by the mental past, and that through dialogue, our unreleased unconscious ghosts can be vanquished. So it's talking about feelings? I know, truly horrifying. A Reetsian friend of mine once told me this joke, and I apologize if it is a bit too vulgar for your taste, but he sputters out the words through little chortles. Listen to the vulgar joke. Is this game only chat? It's like 90% chat. Yeah, it's a lot of yapping, but there is some combat. But the combat is done through like dice rolls and the same kind of chat system. I can cast spells though, which is cool, because it's based on D&D. Yeah, it's basically a chat-based RPG. It's like Disco Elysium. Listen to the vulgar joke. Right. A cleric, an arcanist, and a rogue delve into the lair of a succubus. The fiend defeats all three men, throwing them in her dungeon. But she grows to fancy them, so she offers them a choice. For each man who can successfully satisfy her, she'll let that man go. Otherwise, he speaks with little fits of laughter in between. She ends them, so to say. You actually haven't heard this one. Ho ho ho. A succubus, such a fiend would never offer such terms to mortal men. Yes, let me tell the joke. So the three adventurers debate in which order to go. Eventually the rogue and arcanist decide the cleric should go first, as he is a virgin and will be least likely to increase her standards. Your goblin companion rubs his eyes as he listens to the joke. Oh goodness. The cleric, being divine and so, prays to his god and goes to the fiend's bedchambers. He comes out 10 minutes later, completely unharmed, and gives a thumbs up to his two friends, who of course both feel a great sense of relief. The arcanist goes in, confident and arrogant. If the cleric could do it, the fiend must be easy. Within minutes, his bones roll out of the bedchamber, as the man having been incinerated by hellish flames. The rogue is horrified, but realizes, obviously the arcanist overestimated his abilities, so he carefully enters the bedchamber, ready to put every ounce of effort into it. Less than a minute later, screams erupt from the bedchamber, and the rogue's lifeless corpse falls out of the entrance. The cleric prays for the souls of his comrades and gathers the remains for burial. The succubus steps out smoking a cigarette. She tells the cleric, your friends were truly terrible. They were just fumbling about down there. At least you managed to touch it a little. Huh? To which the cleric responds, you're truly an awful creature, and I will pray for your presence to be exorcised from this plane of existence every day until the day I die. Then before he walks away, the cleric also adds, oh, but I did heal that horrible wound you had between your legs. Hopefully that makes you less evil in the future. The goblin lets out a slight gust of wind through his nose. I don't get it. Oh, the halfling chortles loudly. My kind of humor, you might say. In short, you can view the succubus as an evil in the world which religious fervor would pray to repair. However, reparation could often lead to a not-so-optimal path. I still don't get the joke. He keeps on laughing. Or, most simply, you could say it's a basic allegory for alignment itself. The cleric meant well for all intents, but his actions cost the lives of both his comrades. Is that evil, or is it good? And so on. Right. Either way, psychoanalysis. God, this guy's such a fucking yapper. Yes, that's what we were talking about. It's about your feelings, thoughts, memories, choices you've made, things that have happened to you. They can bog you down, so to say. And the goal in my clinical practice is to root that out in my patients' minds and help make them aware of repressed negative baggage, if you will, so one can move forward more speedily. Sounds like removing a curse of the mind. In a metaphorical sense, yes. But it's not only... Sorry, I can't speak. But it's not the only thing I work on here. I am currently exploring the dreams of animus. That's something to do with masculinity and femininity, based on Cividix's ideals. A dream of men and women. You dream about men and women? Sometimes. But the dream is just a concept of understanding gender ideologies, or ideologues. Beyond that, I also focus a lot on my own unverified theories. He slaps his knees and grins. The folk spirit. Have you heard of it? Sounds like a collective folk view on morality. Is this some kind of unified moral or ethical code of a people or culture? No, it's... He leans back and squints. That's actually not that far off. You got a head on you, cleric. The folk spirit is the working title for my new thesis. Most of it is, if you excuse my honoran, fucking bullshit. Yokiba question, when you playing without streaming, do you speak while you listen? For games like this, where I yap a lot, no. Because that is well, occasionally. Occasionally when I game and stuff, like when I'm reading to myself, sometimes I speak. But when it's this much, no. Like, I have a whole, like, big water bottle with me, which I just took a sip of. It is a lot of speaking. Like, these whole 2 hours, it's just been yapping. And I love it. I love it, but my throat doesn't. Anura, a nomad. I'm probably saying all these words wrong, by the way. A nomadic amphibian people, one of the oldest folk type on the coast, sometimes referred to as the last beasts of yore. But in short, it is about how each... excuse me. Ugh. God bless his water, indeed. But in short, it's about how each folk share a number of core communal archetypes or myths. I have traveled around the coast to collect as many tales, writing down thousands of stories previously only passed down orally. All to see how well my theory holds up in the minds of so many folk. He clears his throat and leans back into his chair. Apologies, I am ranting here. Let's put a stop to it. What do you want, cleric? There are so many options. There are so many options. It's 10 p.m. at night in this game, and I'm going to ask him about everything. Can you give me some mind healing? Of course. I am, however, a bit swamped in work right now. I will get you a book slot. I have time after the election. You should come visit then. Can't you make time now? No, I'm afraid I cannot. Truth be told, I am very overworked. I'm struggling with a certain topic. He makes a noise that might once have been a cough. The old man is frustrated. He's trying to avoid even thinking about it. What? I'm focusing on a specific idea of Cividix. The idea of two opposite faces of your ego, masculine and feminine. But I just can't seem to get past a certain obstacle. Is he just gonna keep talking no matter what I do? Not like you have anything better to say yourself. You see, there's a work called Book of the Mind. It is, in my opinion, Cividix's masterpiece in the figurative sense. Who's pinging me? Oh. Oh, is it like a secret book hidden deep in some dungeon? Oh no, I own several copies. There's a rare edition of this book, which contains a rumored so-called final foreword from Cividix himself. In this foreword, he apparently reveals a revelation about his categorization of the psyche, specifically on the topic of gender. Might be nothing, but it would be highly interesting to get my grubby hands on it. He leans in and whispers, and more importantly, it would bring me great pleasure to know how much Cividix would be spitting in whatever Thasian mass grave he's buried in if he knew a halfling like myself was pioneering in his footsteps, ho-ho. He wasn't a fan? Like most humans of his era, he was very, let's say, humanity first. Snur leans back in his chair. This final 6th edition of the book, it was only printed in 10 copies. The publisher then hiked up the price in order to sell it to collectors. Those collectors have then spent the last 3 decades using these copies as a form of investment, making sure to keep the content of that foreword a tightly guarded secret. Reading is boring. How terrible! A scholar's word should be freely available. Nothing is ever free, even if it is free. So what, you want me to find this rare book? He nods. I drank a bit too much the other night, and in my desperation I paid a diviner to cast Locate Object for me. Locate Object, a second-level divination spell, allows a caster to know the location and movement of a familiar object within 1,000 feet. It is common for scammers to pretend to cast this and find nothing. That is so funny. I love when, like, fantasy settings, they, like, have little, like, details like this. Where, like, yeah, that would happen. Especially in, like, the real world. I didn't expect anything. It was very expensive. However, she actually found it. A copy of the 6th edition Book of the Mind is here, very close to Water Lane View, so that's where we are. And she even told me the exact direction. He points to the floor, about 40 meters straight down. Meters? Meters, a way of measuring distances, invented by an arcanist named Upland Hagenshags. Today it's only used in scholarly circles. Meters? Right. That is something like 100 feet, 150 maybe. Sorry, the definer was a free shredder. You know how they're like in reads. Silly decimal people. It's in the city below? Yes, exactly. And you trust this diviner? Well, trust might be a bit of a strong word. But she was connected to the free striders, and while they're ruthless capitalists, they would not keep a scam artist around. Or if they did, it'd be very funny, of course. What was the name of this diviner? Lisa, I believe. He sniffs. She used to have a hut on top of the free strider building. It wandered away, I think. Wandered? He makes little walking motions with his fingers. Skadoodled, as they say. I love this guy. Skadoodled. That's very strange. An esoteric house. She seemed kind. I hope she stops working for those fucking parasites. This sounds like a quest to move on. Sure, why not? So many side quests, Snell mutters to himself. I have like 50 quests. And I haven't even started my job. Or I have, but I've done nothing. Delve into the dangerous tunnels below and get me that book. Don't get yourself killed. In exchange, I will... well, what the fuck kind of reward do you want? You swear a lot. Yes, fuck you. Life is pain, get over it. I want you to heal my broken mind. Impossible. No one can fix another's mind. I can promise support, but no guarantee. Choose something else. I want you to teach me how to be a man. No, impossible. I have no idea. Pick something different. I don't know. Do you have a magic item or something? He shrugs. I have books in droves? You know what? He says and snaps his fingers. The book itself. It's expensive and probably magical in some sense. Give me the book, let me take a look at the foreword, and you keep the book afterwards. That's still a quest, right? But I don't even have to return to you in that case. I can just take the book and go. True. He sighs. I suppose I can offer some guidance in understanding the book as well. If you let me make a copy of that foreword real quick. Cheer. Let's go. He sniffs. I'm not an expert in what kind of weird shit is down there, but the city below is dangerous, so don't wander blindly. Good luck, cleric. I'll be back in a second. To inquire about this folk spirit. Imagine, if you will, the origin of our stories. All stories? Yes, all of them. As sentient folk, we clearly have the base ability to come up with random ideas and turn them into emotionally resonant tales. Tales that explore the condition of life itself and make us feel many things. But an interesting thing happens if one were to study the core parts of these stories. That even if we look at stories created in entirely different bands, separated isolated tribes, or even in worlds outside yourself, there's overlap. Should I just let him speak? Reinforce his worldview. That'll make him happy. Awesome. You're very smart. Thank you, cleric. He clears his throat. Humans who live in the remote mountains of Yim have the same repeated tropes in their foundational myths as humans in Reeds. Same for halflings, the Stormblood. The Stormbloods of Kargamish have the same variations as the people in Fortnite, despite being separated in esoteric evolution by at least 10 millennia. It's as if every folk is haunted by a spirit, like an unconscious collective dream of concepts and ideas that follows us. Even when those separate folk originate from entirely different worlds. Could you imagine? Two folk arrive through two separate gates of yore. They are alien to one another, culturally, spiritually, biologically. Yet they share those core myths. That is what I'm studying. That is very interesting, isn't it? Most importantly, it's provable. It's like a type of collective unconscious, spread across each folk type. A unified soul of a people. What happened upon merger? How is it provable? Reproducibility, analysis. Cultures and folk who had no contact with one another, even originating from different worlds, both have the same core myths. Narrative traits, archetypes, repeated tropes. It's the same method used when uncovering ancient dead languages, using common denominators to narrow down similarities and differences. He adjusts his mustache. Now, there hasn't been that much reproducibility yet from my peers. I'm still working on getting other scholars in on this topic. Is there a folk spirit that's better than the others? Better means nothing. There's so much weight put into making one greater in some perspective than others, and it's just a ridiculous game of dick swinging. Wow. This guy's very vulgar. I like it. Of course, I also hate this horrid idea that every culture is amazing and wonderful and, everyone is holding hands and dancing together. No! Every culture is equally terrible. But they're all specialized. These symbols we produce are clothed in meaning based on lived experience. A human living in the frozen tundra will derive and require much different practical uses of those core myths than a man living in the harsh desert, yet each folk type has its own fundamental traits that these symbols represent. You talk a lot. I know, just tell me to shut up when you get tired. So it's a type of collective unconscious? A very fancy way to phrase it. I would say if all sentient folk shared those same core traits, it would be exactly that. I do look for that. The possibility of distilling not the core myths of each folk, but of all sentience. It would not surprise me if there was another layer to this puzzle. What happens when two folk types merge? Ah, yes. He lifts a finger. No clue. He's honest. It is even harder to pinpoint due to the nature of merging cultures. In cases like humans and dwarves here in Norvik, there's more data, but not enough to say anything of note. But it seems to me like the folk spirit remains pure in a sense, in one direction or the other. For example, humans can obviously reproduce with dwarves, but the offspring is always, aesthetically and biologically speaking, very human. Which does not make sense, biologically. We're scientifically speaking, different species. Dogs do not breed with cats, do they? The same effect can be seen in most functional folk mixed breeding. Logically, it should not be. Evolutionary adaptation dictates the creation of a mixture, not a one-sided creature. So it's theorized to be some type of powerful esoteric effect that allows this production to take place. And the scholarly community, we call it OSO effect, one-sided offspringing. You know a lot about this topic, huh? Once again, I'm afraid this is all coming from experiments performed by Arcanists. Horrifically so. So one side is always dominant, huh? Not biologically speaking, but esoterically, yes? But esoterically? Yes, objectively so. There's a list of this hierarchy in some textbooks, but it's a pretty taboo topic, as you might imagine. But doesn't that mean that dwarves would eventually stop existing in Norvik and just become human? That is a good question. If two people live alongside one another for a long enough time and they reproduce with one another equally, but the offspring are all aesthetically human, then yes. Eventually, there would only be one people, and it would be a people, and it would be a people who look human. However, there's a big factor in charge here, that is the elusive and enticing topic of mating preference. There's not much proven data I can point to, but if you allow me to speculate, then I would say only a minority of the population of any tribe will ever have a strict preference for mating outside of that tribe. Without a basic assumption like that, I do not believe tribe itself would remain intact enough for civilization to emerge. So in the case of dwarves and Norvik, I do not believe that two tribes can ever truly merge. Cooperate? Yes. Cohabitate? Of course. And even mingle and date and crossbreed? Absolutely. Why not? But merge? No. Impossible. Of course, this assumption ignores the OSO effect, so it feels a bit crackpotty. Take it as you wish. And you think the folk spirit follows the one-sided offspring? Maybe. I've not done enough work to say anything for sure. Nor have I been peer-reviewed. Nor am I a very sane or stable individual. He grins. I think I understand now. The goblin crosses his arms, ready to hear your comment. The halfling scholar leans back in his armchair. I think you've got something cool cooking here. Bro's saying unknown slurs. What? Oh, do you? He gives you a quick nod. I'll not spend my old age here if I did not agree to. Some decent sense. He sniffs. Thank you for listening to my rant, cleric. You as well, my goblin friend. You're welcome? Dude, it's been 30 minutes and I talked to this guy about like two things. You're an expert in alignment, huh? Somewhat. I wrote my masterpiece on the subject. That should account for somewhat of an understanding of the subject, but not enough. Never enough. He sniffs. Can you change your alignment? Of course. Any creature is capable of leaning in the axis, depending on their day-to-day actions. Oh, just like that? It's not easy, if that's what you're thinking. Look. Like all things, it's messy. Let's say you're lawful evil. Okay. You find that being labeled as evil is bad for your business, or your work prospects, as one might, so you choose to donate a large sum of money to a charity that will inevitably help thousands. You might even save some lives with those spent coins. But you said I was evil. Yes, but you're trying to not be. In this case, you performed an objectively good, selfish action for evil. Selfish reasons. So what happens next? He points at you. Nothing. Nothing, but it did a good thing. You remain lawful evil. Let's change the parameters. Instead, you are a lawful evil man who genuinely wishes to repent, to pay for the many evil things you've done in your life before. If this man performs a selfless action with the intention of selflessness, then all of a sudden it will begin a shift in his alignment. Intention is all that matters? Yes. This effect has obviously been studied for centuries. It's aptly named alignment intent studies. I personally received my scholarship through studying delusional intent. We gathered a large amount of very mentally unwell people, mostly from local prisons and post-war reeds, who truly believed in a very different worldview than most others. For example, this one man was certain that he had to kill his fellow man, or the world would end, one murder a week. An extreme delusion. However, any detection spell showed him to be neutral good, and he felt terrible about all the murders he committed. He was not selfish. In fact, he was more selfless than most, willing to perform acts that horrified him in order to save us all. The objective outcome of his actions matter not, no more than the outcomes of the actions of a person under a charm spell. Interesting. So what if you're not smart enough to understand your actions? That is what we call the sentience line. It's not exact. Animals, for example, are true neutral by default. Any that is not a pure beast, but rather affected by esoteric forces on some level. That's a theory, at least. But imagine a man who loses enough of his mental faculties to be considered a beast, no longer living in a world of good or evil. Let's say he was chaotic good beforehand. What happens to his alignment? Does he suddenly turn true neutral? Is he stuck at chaotic good, or does he somehow slide towards true neutral? Because that's another thing. There's no known way to perform a neutral action. All actions are either some level of selfish, selfless, lawful, or chaotic, on a wide spectrum. But you can never just move towards the center. It's just not allowed. How do you end up at your alignment to begin with? Are you born with it? No. All creatures are born true neutral, and all reported metrics show babies are unable to perform alignment shifts until the age of about 3 to 7, depending on the folk. But interestingly enough, it's shown that most people only perform 1 or 2 alignment shifts in their entire lifeline. Philosophical game? Yeah, this game and games like Disco Elysium, they really get you to think about stuff, and I like it. I like thinking. He scratches his cheek and sniffs a couple times during adolescence. After that, less than 1/10 of a folk will ever shift again. That is fairly substantial verified data as well. So essentially, despite having free will, folk will always lean towards the natural behavior over time. So we're slaves to our nature? On broad scales when looking at data, yes. But it was Civitics who wrote, "There's no honor in branding a naturally selfless man good. There's all honor in a selfish monster receiving the same title." Remember that. What's the difference between alignment and personality? Not too much correlation on paper. Studies on personality show that there's overlap. Conscientious folk tend to be more lawful. Neurotic and open folk tend to be more good to a minor degree. But we're talking about still unverified and very minor correlations. Wait, does it mean everything I do is branded as good, evil, chaotic, or lawful? Even this that I'm saying right now? In some small sense, yes. The very act of speaking, no matter what you say, will always give you very, very small points in any direction. Although, could you imagine trying to keep track of it all? It would be insane! So no person would ever go to such lengths. So no need to only keep track of stuff like that. It will only drive you mad. So you can will yourself into changing your alignment? In theory, yes. I made my decision. Sorry? I want to be chaotic good. I fuck with chaotic good because I'm a big fan of D&D. I really like chaotic good because I'm a good guy and I do whatever I want, so it's good. That's not how it works, cleric. You'd have to be incredibly deluded, and I mean an absolute living in your own world, mentally unstable in order to simply decide which your alignment were and actually get an outcome from it. But I suppose it can't hurt. Good luck being... Sorry, what did you choose again? It was, yes? Makes more sense to focus on yourself without being constricted by the rules. Chaotic, then. Perhaps chaotic evil? Maybe don't say that out loud, though. Lawful evil. Structure, with you on top, obviously. Chaotic good. Wisdom, my goat. I love you, wisdom. Your heart tells you clearly, every day, you don't live for you. You live for others, against all the structural horrors the world has brought up around you. Chaotic good. Right, and a little unorderly. I like it. He nods. Good luck with that, cleric. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna like gain. I'm gonna talk this guy into next week. What does good mean? What a question. I cannot offer a universal answer. That is impossible, of course. From the data, there are a few ways of distilling the essence of goodness. For example, the amount of good you are is directly correlated with the amount of time you spend inside your own mind worrying about how much pain you've inflicted upon the world. And of course, practically, it also means performing selfless actions. Performative sacrifice is done entirely for the purpose of helping others. Instant goodness. What does evil mean? Most people would say they know it when they see it, but practically it means selfishness. For example, a person with a mental pathology that disallows compassion and empathy, making them naturally only hold care for no one but their own self. That is naturally an evil individual. But at the same time, we're all basically evil, egotistical, disgusting creatures in the end. If push comes to shove, as they say, since obviously all of us have a part that is focused more on our own survival rather than the survival of the foreign. Otherwise, we would not be alive in the evolutionary sense. What does chaotic mean? Now that can be difficult to parse sometimes. We've done many experiments to try to distill the exact meaning of it. It's difficult. Mainly because who decides what is law? Gods? Your local government? Village elder? No, what is chaos and order is universal. A law can be chaotic, as contradictory as it sounds, if its dictation brings chaos into the world. But generally, what we've found is that there are a few common rules that chaos follows. Breaking down structures, whether that is a building or a hierarchy of society, lies. In fact, any action that purposely goes against a known truth is considered chaotic. And of course, randomization. Rolling a dice is an inherently chaotic act, as is any form of gambling. That's actually one of the easier ways to measuring chaotic behavior. We used to go to the local gambling parlor. Good times. What does lawful mean? Lawful actions can be difficult to perform. It's all about building, crafting buildings for once, or hierarchies of structure, keeping families intact and orderly organizations, as well as following the truth. So it's basically the opposite of what you just said. Okay, that makes sense. There have been many tyrannical lawful governments throughout history that quickly succumb to chaos due to the warping of the truth itself. But then again, if you can convince people to enter another reality, if you will, where a lie is true, then all of a sudden the folk in that reality will be lawful, despite working and living in a lie. It'd be very convoluted and fascinating. Who decides what any of this means? There are theories. Some say it's the gods, some say it's Yor himself who controls the parameters in this world of his. Some believe it's simply inscribed into the universe as absolute law. What do you think? I do not know. If I had to guess, I'd say it's something overlapping between worlds. Mostly because I do not believe Yor, from all I've read, to be smart enough to make up a system as complicated as this on his own. Does alignment matter? Oh, not in any real way. It can be a tool, but if you cannot read it properly, seeing a man branded with chaotic evil means nothing. But if you learn, it can be used to understand folk better. You can statistically expect an evil person to act in their own interest, and you can expect a good person to act in the interest of others. A smart man can use this to his advantage, which is also an evil act, I believe. Funny how it goes. Why isn't it illegal to be evil? Might as well make it illegal to be sentient. Branding it as evil might be the core problem there. There are arcanists who created alternate naming conventions for alignments, altruism and egotism, for example, but it did not catch on, as they say. But everyone has to be evil sometimes. Imagine your family is starving, alongside two other families who are also starving. The other families are smaller folk who only need half as much food. Would you feed your own family or sacrifice them to feed the other two families? I don't have a family of my own. No, it's a thought experiment. Imagine if you do. Depends. What are the other families like? They are just as nice and lovely as your own. And my family is very nice and lovely. What would you choose? I'd feed the other families. They got bigger numbers. That's more good to do that. Numbers. Yes. The Arcanists held a similar view. What exactly is objectively considered in alignment terms in this scenario? Is it selfish to care for your own people before others? Has it more to do with the exact number of people who live or die, suffer or prosper, in a purely utilitarian perspective? These questions have all been asked before and have arguably been answered. From what we can see, especially looking at the data collected from horrendously unethical experiments performed by Arcanist scholars, it's just about intention. If a man chooses to focus on his own family but feels really bad about the other starving families, then he will be more good than another man who does not think of the other suffering at all. The proximity rule states that the emotional distance between yourself and the target determines the level of selfishness. If you sacrifice your life to protect your family, that's more selfish than if you sacrifice your life for a stranger. The latter is more good. Proximity rule, a rule of alignment. If an action is taken for the benefit of a target, then if said target is closer emotionally to you, it will result in a less good action. If a target is further away from you, such as a stranger, performing selfish actions for them will result in more goodness. So in the end, a genuinely selfless person will always have a much easier time being branded with good than a naturally selfish one. He scratches his hairy eyebrows simultaneously. Guy's got some thick eyebrows. By the gods, I talk too much. Make me stop. That's all about alignment. Oh, I got you. I'll have you yapping for so long, bro. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 other dialogue trees for you to go down. How does death and resurrection work with all this stuff? What do you mean exactly? Can death change your nature? A frown spreads across his face. Necromancers and old arcane era traditions did much study on the topic. And yes, death and subsequent resurrection can function as a reset for the mind in a way, but arguably no less than any other severe trauma. The data is hard to trust, however, so I'll not say for sure. There's much study to do on this topic, and I am no expert. Is there a soul? The fuck do I know? He laughs. Ghosts exist, of course, as do wraiths and other foul undead spirit things. There's much arcanist data on such things. Like, if a person is resurrected, their ghost ceases to be. That implies the ghost is the soul, right? But Speak with Dead does not. In fact, a ghost is technically able to ask questions to its own corpse. Very surreal. Which implies the soul also leaves a conscious remnant of itself which is able to be animated through magic. And if a person is resurrected, even after very long periods of time, they'll have no memory of their time as a free soul. Thus, there's much evidence that the soul is not so much a personhood. That shit is all up in the brain from what we can see, but rather just some type of divine spark, like a power source that wants to be one with the universe, or your god. The Lich is specifically a creature who consumes these so-called souls for their own gain, which is not very common. Destruction of that magical spark is of course a horrid crime of metaphysical levels, since resurrection, rebirth, or unity with one's god is impossible at that point. But then again, back in the day it used to be common for mortals to sell their souls to various devils or aberrations. So, seems like there absolutely is a soul? Probably, yes. Can one spontaneously resurrect themselves? I've not heard of such a thing, but why not? I died in the river and then woke up in the Lich House. Ah, Viskin's work, yes? Looks you up and down. When I first opened up the office here, I was informed in hushed tones to not interact with that man. Obviously, he's the first guy I went to chat with. We exchange books sometimes. Lovely man. You don't think he's a bit weird? Who isn't? He's clearly the most dangerous and powerful creature in this city. Or, maybe top 3. He's probably doing some type of secret experiment in that lair of his. One day I hope to hear more about it. I got some other questions. Okay. Why don't you use magic in your mind healing? It does not work. Not the greatest arcanist can invent a spell capable of fixing mental unwellness. I need some water. This guy's making me yap. I love him. I hope he's single. If you happen to find a cure mind spell, you would make a fucking fortune casting it on rich people around the coast. Although just the thought of such magic gives me some sort of ontological nightmare. What does it mean to have a cured mind? Did your or some outside god at some point decide what constitutes a wound of the mind? In the same way suffering is used to heal wounds of the physical? Pain equals negativity. That is universal. The universal indicator of the negative. Yes, yes, when you heal a person, magic itself targets the source of the pain as a sort of bullseye for reverting any harm, no matter the source or specific biology of the person. What if one suffers from night terrors caused by some horrors of the past? Should a mind heal spell remove your ability to have night terrors, or should it remove their traumatic source from your memory, or simply lessen your mental ability of neuroticism? Could the latter lead to a society without neurotic people? Would that also dampen others' fears? Other fears, what would your consider to be a good level of negative thoughts? It sends my mind spinning. The world inside each mind needs to be diverse with both good and ill. I agree. The most neurotic people might be somewhat tortured, yes, but they are also some of our greatest thinkers and philosophers, perhaps even partially due to that internal pain. The halfling leans back in the chair. No, the mind requires another method. One I and many others are attempting to entangle. We'll see if any of us are even remotely successful in this brain bullshit. What is love? Love. He lets out a frustrated groan. Pure calamity. Deadly and destructive its nature is just perverted and foul, because it is a complete surrender without idealization. To love is to accept, without proof or demands or conditions, this complete surrender to another. Ridiculously risky. Do you know a lot about love? Sure I do. My wife would certainly attest to it despite my horrid nature. Damn it, he's not single! The familial love is close to my heart as well. My 2 boys are my most prized works. Oh. You have a wife and kids? Yes, but nothing we need to talk about. Private life is private, and so on, he says with a little laugh. He does not wish to speak about this, not one bit. His personal life leaves a twinge of pain in the crease of his eyes every time he thinks of it. So I shouldn't love? He shrugs. If you can, yes. Of course you should not take such a risky bet. Then he takes a deep breath, calming himself down for the punchline. Love is a completely unpredictable and dangerous encounter, and I have yet to meet a sentient folk which is not afflicted by it. And interestingly enough, I see no difference. It is universal. Elf love, halfling love, devil love. True love is always irrational. It is finding the perfect inside of the imperfect, and falling entirely into it, swallowed by it. Some folk might act it out in different ways depending on the communal nature of biological urges. But if you are one of the few who do not need it, good. Be happy. If you are not, then good luck, and may the gods bless your soul. Where did you say I should look for this book you needed? He leans in 120 feet. He then points to the floor, straight down in the city below. That is where the diviner saw it. How it got there? Who knows? What do you know about the tea shop? The one that exploded. Oh, horrific. He gestures wildly toward the rocky wall. Shit started shaking. It was as if the red rock of Tolstad itself was cracking, for half a second or so. So, you were down here when it happened? Yes. I think I was asleep. The sound awoke me. Did you go check it out? No. Someone told me later what it was like. I have work to do here. Did you hear anything about it? Rumors? You should not believe rumors, cleric. But yes, I did hear some nasty stuff. Some people seem to think the owner did it himself since he is missing. Some others think the city did it since they printed a clear lie on the post. I've also heard that people say the Asgallus are responsible since it was their hideout, or that the Free Striders did it for the same reason, blowing up Asgallus opposition and so on. It's all bullshit, of course. Don't believe rumors. What do you think happened? He shrugs violently. Violently shrugging? Like he's about to beat in my ass or something? Good. What are you voting in the election? I'm a filthy Asgallist. Oh, why? Pragmatic dogma. The Green Banner has flown into strange context here, in this Republican wet dream of ours. Asgallism is supposed to be about abolishing the entire structure of hierarchy. That history is driven by economic struggle, specifically the clash between classes. Asgall's end goal is a classless, stateless society where everyone's equal. But looking at the Norvikian Asgallus, it's clear to me they long ago let this goal slip past. Look at them. They're shaking hands with the establishment, trying to find a peaceful solution, they say. You want violent revolution? He frowns. Look, the hairy halfling mutters. Genuine change, true change, needs a truly revolutionary break with the existing order. There's no doubt about that. In Incremental reforms, small changes within the capitalist system will always fail to address its fundamental contradictions and injustices. My time in Reeds made that clear to me. But always be wary of simplistic utopian visions. There's a path covered in corpses that leads such blind idealism. So I'll vote for this social democratic compromise, this handshake with capital. Then I'll go home and piss myself and die, dreaming the next generation will have answers I do not. A compromise is good enough for now. You'd think I agreed. Part of me does. Okay. Gained 100 XP for changing your political stance, but seriously, you should pick a political stance and stick to it. Next time you won't get any XP for fence sitting. But I do truly hate this idea of tipping the hat to these truly fascist regimes. And yes, even the revolutionary free striders are fascists in a deep sense. How do you think they got their start? The coin of those who profited in the great suffering of old Dimenor, and the Coast War, and grinding the flesh of humanity. Free striderism is filthy opportunism, not republicanism. They are just arcanist regimes with a painted mask and slightly less horrific esoterical power in hand. Slightly. So what? We don't even try to bring about Asgal's dream? He sighs. I don't know. I'm an idiot. You figure it out. With a deep groan, he starts rubbing his hairy face. Workers unite and unionization and guild power is all well and good until it gets too loud. Make a bit too much noise, and the true powers quickly and efficiently drop this illusionary mask, facade. The esoteric spell that tricks us into thinking they care, or that they are in any way Folkarian. So what about you, cleric? You're voting Asgalus, I presume? Yes, they have my vote. Terrible to hear, but why not, right? He sniffs. Now, for something else, before I start ranting about the suffragette movement. Your companion glances at you. No, please, I really, really want to know what you think about the suffragettes. The halfling wags a finger at you. You're a brave man, cleric. Thanks. Wink at him. Oh my god, he's gonna start yapping. When the first talks of an election began, it was the late Arcane era, about 30 years ago. In those early days, the suffragettes were mostly dwarven women. They had the backing of a few hardcore universal Asgalus sects that had remained until since the Great Project concluded. Great Project, a period of 12 years where massive dwarves immigrated to the newly reconquered and founded Norvik to be employed in the construction of the city. When Earth died and talks of an election grew loud, the dwarven woman had a hard time getting through. He's a yapper. We're both yappers. Both because of the less progressive Asgalus and of course the traditional cultural practices of the Earthfolk. So the movement didn't kick into gear properly until, of course, human women decided to join. Oh boy, those are scary. Tell me about it. Mind you, this was after almost 2 decades of dwarven women pushing for universal suffrage. Within just a few years, with the voice of angry rich woman yelling and writing and protesting, the palace patriarchy gave in. That's the history lesson, but here's the part I'm fucking furious over. What? Those rich human women, do you know what happened to them? He waves his hand. I'll tell you. Many of them are today's fascists. Can you imagine? They run an incredible campaign in order to get the right to vote, to break the chains of oppression, piss off the tyrannical men, smash the patriarchy, and so on, all to throw their lot in with that very same traditionalist ideology. An ideology that clearly wants to, An ideology that clearly wants to will of course also just not have any voting go on at all, but specifically not allow women to vote. That's ridiculous. Why would they do that? I ask the same. A part of me thinks that has to do with some type of opportunism. These are women whose time in the spotlight ended once they won the right to vote. Suddenly their entire platform of activism disappeared overnight. But even still, why nationalists? Perhaps if you don't mind me speculating wildly, some type of perverse psychosexual thing at play here. Highly misogynistic statement. He should do better. Or it is probably a question of class. It probably is. Yes, probably. They are mostly a group of rich people, and that would logically supersede their identity as a woman. If the rich human position in society is threatened, they have more to lose as rich than as women. It's a complex topic, and I don't have fucking time to think about it, even though I want to desperately figure it out. But that is just something I'm fascinated by, you know? His points are somewhere close to coherent. Anyway, you're a halfling, right? Give me your thoughts on the clan land ordeal. Ordeal? He scratches his nose and looks up into the air. He repeats. My homeland is a shell of broken people. The clans in my kin, especially those struck under occupation across the Golden Line. Golden Line, the geographic barrier and magical wall cutting the clan lands in two. The western side is under occupation of the Golden Horde. This fragile armistice is seen by many as not valid due to the constant guerrilla warfare by halflings stuck on the western side. They are being systematically destroyed, step by step as the Horde marches into Ascani land. Isn't there peace right now? Peace in the most devious technical sense, yes. He grunts. The clan lands deal, this armistice, was seen by many as a practical solution, since only 2 clans were left to be enslaved and integrated as Horde tributaries. He slams his hand onto the side of the chair. It is a band-aid! Celestials view time in centuries while we see in decades at best. Thus they can take one piece at a time with generational acceptance in between. It is the most clean method of genocide, one of radiant ghosts and insidious toxic love. I'm gonna go sleep. Good luck with the yapper. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good night, and I'm almost done with him, so hopefully I come out of this alive. What will happen to them? Tomorrow? Nothing. In a decade? Not much. Fortnip will stand by the time I die, in 30 or 40 years, but by the end of this new era, my homeland will surely be eradicated. That is my estimation. Did you live in the clan lands? When the Golden Line was drawn? Yes. It's not that interesting, but I was on the western side when it happened. There wasn't enough food to go around, so I pulled some strings to smuggle myself east. It's a whole story. I can't say much more. My clan, the Appledents, all live in Tipberry. It's not some big personal tragedy on my part. It's more of a focused destruction, a gender trauma, something generational, even if I was there to witness it. I imagine you'd feel something similar about the Coast War. That's actually extremely interesting. You could write a book on that. I have. Can't get it published, though. No one wants to deal with legal threats from the Horde. Fascinating. Even in Norvik? Even in Norvik. Isn't there resistance in Fortnip? Of course, it's a whole damn mess. Ignoring the actual guerrilla resistance west of the line, there's been a massive rally around anti-celestial sentiment in the east. They've attempted sanctions with Norvik, VK, and even Ilum backing. There's even been some coast-spanning outreach all the way to Kargamesh to build some type of coast-spanning halfling coalition. Nothing works. The Horde has a finger in mostly every trade port. They own land and hold strong ties to every regime. Even Norfolk has not officially backed their neighbors, without Lady Earth and with Lady Fair not so existing. They're, as the kids say it, steamed. As you can imagine, the halfling population of the hills are not too happy about this, but what can they do? An Asgal victory might change things, but the Free Striders are in the Celestial pockets, as are the Patriarchs. So yes, there is resistance, but as of yet, there's no practical way out of this frog being boiled, I'm afraid. He is correct. The Golden Horde is performing impeccably in this geopolitical play. A great tragedy, for this small folk to be crushed by a radiant fascist boot. Why do they want the clan land so badly? He waves his hand. It's a basic resource conflict. Oh? Amber. You know, Electrum. Electrum. An old term for magical amber ore. It is only mined in three locations across the coast. The clan land of Ascant, the Toothy River Heishi, and the rock woods of Yim. Amber. Amber, a translucent magical resin with a faint yellow glow. It is often used to store esoteric energy and is an extremely valuable material across the coast. The technical term is electrum. The Celestials want their magical rocks. The Commonwealth is the only reliable source of amber for the many, many esoteric use cases. Spell storing, item crafting, consecration, and esoteric attunement. It is an extremely useful material, a powerful one. So it is really no wonder the Horde wants to expand their Golden Line. If Norvik was more reliant on amber as a resource, I'm sure they too would covet those hills. But trading with the halflings does not seem so differently from trading with the Horde, at least not today. Are the Celestials influential in Norvik? Yes. They have a lot of soft power, and trade mostly. The Horde ambassadors know to fling their contracts around like a devil in disguise, mostly to stop halfling-owned corporations from operating without major hassle. Any halfling would tell you the same. They luckily don't care for tiny clinics like my own, but... He sniffs. They will not stop in the material realm. They must go into the psychic as well. What? The Golden Horde. Their annexation of land is just the final step. Before that comes many little crushings of thoughts and dreams and a tyranny of pure ideology. They shape perceptions to maintain control. That is indeed what they are doing. Pure soft power expansionism. An incredible evil. Those poor halflings. That's all I wanted to ask. Yes, he says and sniffs loudly. I have some personal questions for you. Nothing too interesting there, he says and sniffs. I see no reason why you would investigate an old halfling with nothing good to grant to the world. You seem interesting enough. Kind of you, but you're wrong. My work is the only thing that is interesting, I assure you. I came in here. When did I come in here? I don't know. But, like, it was a while ago. And I whacked with them for so long. And I got one quest out of it. Well, two, technically. Oh! Democratization. You successfully spread the idea of democracy simply by asking people what they are voting for. Everyone is now better off thanks to your extremely helpful behavior. You are a real hero. Take root. Hey, you've been doing great work out there. What work? Talking to people, you know, about the election, about democracy, about the future. You know what that makes you? A herald. A democratic herald. Doesn't that sound nice? And what exactly does that mean? Someone who spreads the word. Someone who gets people engaged with the democratic process. Look, this is what the New World is all about. People talking to each other, sharing ideas, debating, listening. Every conversation is a little spark of democracy igniting. And you're fanning those flames. So here's the thing. All that talking, it's energizing. When you engage with people about what matters, when you get them thinking, discussing, caring, it fills you up. Makes you feel alive. Tell me more about Democratic Herald. Every time you ask someone what they're voting for, you feel a surge of vitality. It's the excitement of democracy in action. Democratic Herald. You gain 1d4 hit points each time you ask someone what they're voting for in the election. So here's the thing. All that talking is energy. Okay. Wait, I don't get any other choices? Great question. In this case, you're just way too aware of the fact that you have absolutely no chance of ever subverting / changing / affecting this particular democratic process. And you obviously can't stop yourself from spreading the word, no matter what that word is. Though obviously, being a free strider, you'll keep this up, won't you? So, okay. All this talking is making my throat dry. That's the spirit. Welcome to the New World, Herald. Good talk. Okay, 1d4 hit points every time I ask someone what they're voting for in the election. I got a little piece of paper following me around. Did I get another quest from all this? Copper Press Fever, and as Gallus newspapers being printed on Tolstad, you should find the location. Golden Line. There's geopolitical conflict going on in the Clan Lands. The homeland of Ascani native halflings have been cut in half by the so-called Golden Line. Celestials hold the West. Maybe you should find out more. Snur is a member of the Harefoot clan and is distant cousin with Karen. Okay. Sciences dormitory out of commission. Marcus says Simi Sunstroke back. Can't get through here. I don't remember that door being like that. RNA. What does RNA mean? I have no reason to be interested in this particular door. Snell. Who is that? A hooded figure by the pillar. Snell. What is this? What the hell's? A beaming light emanates from a hole in the wall. One of the apartment doors that turns into something not so normal. Cleric, do not approach that thing. That is some major esoteric bullshit. Esoteric bullshit. Whenever the weird, unstable magic around yours coast makes things a bit too wacky, people tend to say this. I have to investigate it, Snell. It could be a dangerous esoteric pocket. Do not. But it looks so cool. No. Touch the door. What happens? Maybe I should cast a spell before doing this. Or equip my pocket watch. ... A sting of radiant energy fills your senses. Oh no. Survive? Ho! Ho ho ho! You resist the pain, the urge, and all you see is light and a door. Go through the door. You step outside. Oh my goodness. The door closes behind you. Snell stands beside you, muttering to himself. I don't want to go. It's not good. It's not a good idea. He shakes his head, then looks around. What happened? Just look around. The door behind you is now normal. It must have been a temporary esoteric pocket of some kind. A time dilation pocket? Perhaps some type of portal to the positive realm. Either way, you're lucky you got out. Ugh. I feel weird. Not terrible, but I feel that feeling. Your body is refreshed. Huh? What time is it? He looks at his tiny pocket watch. Holy shit, we lost 6 hours? Oh. Yeah, oh indeed. Esoteric... What? Gods be damn bullshit, that's what it is. My bad. The goblin grumbles something. Let's just go. You don't want to go to sleep? No, because a kidnapping gods be damn glowing door made me feel surprisingly refreshed. Is that what you want to hear? Let's go. We got time to catch up on. Just a door. That's not... Dude. I lost 6 hours. I was supposed to speak with Darrow. Is it still too late? Who's this guy? Behold. All right, listen. I gotta get to Darrow. I can't waste my time doing anything else. It's daytime now. Gotta get over there as soon as I can. Such a sneaky staircase. Nice find. Thanks. Oh, bucket. +2 strength, -2 wisdom. I mean, I already do have a really high wisdom, but I do like that it's high, so... Hey, Etcher. Hold on, let me put this bucket on my head before I talk to you. Celestial level 10 angel, lawful neutral. Cold, stern, glorious. She follows orders, the type of orders that grant eternal fulfillment. There's a sadness in her existence. Broken wings stuck among lesser beings. What does she seek? When an angel falls, she ceases to exist. She is transformed. This creature does not seek redemption or emancipation. She seeks purpose. The angel... Oh, shit. I think I missed my meeting with the Coin Lord. She hands you a rusty key along with a note. The Coin Lord did wish to speak with you last night. Since you were unavailable, he instead sent a message. He says, remember your duty, follow the official line of the city, and serve the goblins well without compromising our position. Can you elaborate on his message? The angel only stares at you with many eyes. Then she turns and floats away, leaving you behind on the top of Tolstad. What a conversationalist. Look at the key in your hand. It's a key to the guard tower, the one in front of you. Your goblin companion glances over and then towards the building. Ah, right. He wants you to sleep in there. Enjoy that. Look at the note in your other hand. It only says cardamom poison. This will allow you entrance to the tea shop. No one would ever speak ill of that wonderful spice. Time to head to the tea shop then. Yes, it is quite late. Late is better than never. But I really enjoyed being up all night with you, Snell. Yeah, well, I'm not doing that again. Yet, preferably. Try to get some actual sleep, at some point at least. An iron key, clearly dwarven made. Well, it looks quite old. It's actually extremely sturdy. It opens an old guard tower in Tolstad. Interesting. Register inspector looks great. I cannot pass. Name. Okay, so she's in here. Oh wow. Bless? I cannot reach that from up here. No, I can't. What is this? On the wall I see a classic copper calendar. Most households in Norfolk have one. Your mom had one though. Go on birthdays. It's spinning ever so slowly. The outer wheel moves one full step every day. The middle wheel moves every month, and the inner moves every year. This one seems special. It keeps track of both the seasons of Ascan Reeds and Vorgeni, as well as all major Earthfolk holidays. Seasons. Each band has its own rules for the changing seasons. On the specific days, the weather is supposed to change drastically and immediately, but you have not experienced such a switch in your lifetime. What day is it? The outer wheel tells you it's March 23rd. When's the election? 4 days. What's the current month? The calendar's middle wheel is showing March as the current month. That's the third month. It is, well done. That means it's still winter in Ascan, yet the weather's incredibly fair. It has been this way most of your life, but apparently did not used to work like this. Back in the day in the previous era, seasons changed upon the designated days, not a moment before. It could apparently cause quite the whiplash. What year does it say it is? The inner wheel says it's very still on the piece of copper, saying 27 post-war. It has always been easy to keep how old you are, thanks to that. Who decides when a new era begins? Your. Magically attuned items and type keeping spells will keep time in regards to the eras. Eras which shift for reasons beyond anyone's understanding. Anyone's, but yours most likely. So one day all the time keeping spells just magically shift to show a new era? Yes. Cool. It is. Since the era is just as old as I am, does that mean I'm the chosen one? No. It is entirely an unremarkable coincidence. Maybe in your heart. Who decides on the names of the eras? The eras have no objective names. They are chosen by each culture differently. In Norvik, the common era type is to simply follow the Retian common structure, which is Gate era 3,000 years, Fade era 1,100 years, Divine era 379 years, Arcane era 511 years, Post-War era 27 years ongoing. Fade era. The second out of 5 eras, when you are once silent and the ancient terrors are slowly replaced by those in charge today. This is when humans first arrived, for example. Gate era was the earliest, right? Yes, from the creation of the coast by Yor to the closing of the gates at the end of the Gate War. Fade era was the time when all the ancient creatures died, right? More or less. It was the era when the powerful creatures trapped after the gates shut struggled for dominion while losing connection with their outer gods. Outer god, the term used to describe the actual gods, those who invaded the coast during the Gate War. They hold no dominion on Yor's realm since the gate closed. But the most common consensus among scholars, all walking gods are simply avatars of these real outer ones. This is an era of giants, genies, dragons, and great aberrations. Divine era is a short one. That's a feudal era, right? Indeed. Well, short in comparison, almost 4 centuries is a long time in times of great change. This was when mortal walking gods ruled the coast, when great kingdoms rose and great empires conquered vast lands. Or as you say, feudalism and barbaric governments. Arcane era was a bit longer. That's when the Arcanists rose and fell, right? It was an era marked by man's power and corruption, when God's influence waned in juxtaposition with the might of the esoteric, and the post-war era has just begun. We will see how long it lasts. You'll most likely not see its end. Good to know. Indeed. Look closer at the seasons marked around the wheel. You see the months and seasons marked into the copper plate. Gorgony, okay, this is a lot. I'm not going to read all this. It only mentions 3 of the bands. What about the rest? A list of all 8 bands would be excessive. You saw a true season calendar once. It was in the Palace Long Hall. The great wheels turned by use of some ancient esoteric force, and every band had its seasons marked clearly on the glowing plates, a glorious magic item. My birthday's on the 13th of Cronus. It is! Do I have to keep track of this? It would be ridiculous for a grown man to not know the names of the months. Don't worry, no one will ask you to remember the months. Oh right, every band's seasons shift on different days. That's confusing. It is. But don't worry, you have never left Askin in your life, and you never will. Okay, good, neat. Check out the holidays. You look at the various holidays marked into the copper plate. Gorgani, Earth's Passing, Feltini, Fast of Tuck, and remembers of the tribulations of the what folk? That seems like a typo. Of Earth folk, back in Old Dimenor, a feast is held. Most devout would abstain from sustenance for 36 hours in preparation. March, Great Migration. The day the Earth folk arrived on the Ascani shores for the first time, often celebrated by cleaning and preparing boats for the first breaking of the ice. Once it is no longer cold as it used to be in March, people often head out on fishing trips to celebrate. Belton, Blood Night, 7 Silence. Blood Night, a solemn holiday usually spent visiting graves with loved ones, especially fallen soldiers. Each day of the week, you're supposed to pray for a different fallen soldier. Thirsty River Run, Giant's Crown. River Run, Norwegian holiday celebrated at the start of the year. Traditionally, a bike race is held along River Torna each year. River Run, good food and fresh crayfish by River Torna served by various gatherings. The kids are supposed to run or bike along the river as the ships race each other. Thussi Folks Feast. Folks Feast, a great celebration during the short Ascani summer. Many animals are slaughtered and many treats are baked for this annual celebration. It is held on the longest day of the Ascani sun. Cornish Toll's Dance. Toll's Dance, a holiday for lovers and young people who meet up at various fields outside the city to dance through the night. You were never invited to one. Ngami, Phoenix Watch. Jesus Christ! This is a good world building. On exactly 28 days before Ascani autumn, a phoenix passes over Norvik going inland. For an hour, the intense light turns night to day. Ultra, Torna's Flame, the Ascent. Torn as flame, to hold the darkness of autumn at bay, a great bonfire is placed on top a longship and lit on fire in Norvik. It is then sailed on River Torna, where it is relit in every major settlement in the coming weeks. Sulmi Roblight Night. Roblight Night, before the eternal darkness and intense cold of Ascani winter begins, a group of women are selected in Norvik to perform a series of chants on the banks of River Torna. It is said that in the past, these women would be allowed to walk upon the river and cross the river through their love of earth. Look at the marking that says Founding of Norvik. The calendar says 461 arcane. The arcane era is 511 years. Since it is currently the 27th year of the post-war era, that means Norvik was founded 77 years ago. It will probably not reach 100. Don't say that. Don't ever say that. Earth City will live for 1,000 years, you blue knave. Keep telling yourself that. If the Arcanist cannot reach more than half a millennia, the city has no chance in all the hells. That, you feel, is guaranteed. Okay, that's all for now, calendar. Jesus! What are these? There are 3 books of interest in the pile. They appear worn, broken, upon Beyond Reads by Meridoc Moonwatch. You open it hoping for an interesting take on coastal travel. Instead, you're immediately met by a pop travel guide. Oh no. It's written by the famous freestrider Meridoc Moonwatch, a trade prince of the Free Cities. Moonwatch, a famous family of revolutionaries in Reeds. They were one of the few powerful houses that managed to brand themselves as non-magocrats and were thus both spared in some sense revered. The introduction is styled as a personal note to the reader. Moonwatch uses a very casual language to convince you of its expertise. It is also filled with freestrider propaganda. It's only propaganda if you disagree with it. That is actually true. I can't read this shit. No, you cannot. This is trite. What'd you say? You're still here, Snell? What, you looking at books? Are you going to bed or not? Can I leave? Close the tome. Put the book back in the pile. Open Humans: A Brief History. A history book by scholar Tim Alamican. Alamican, one of the last Earthfolk houses to arrive after the founding of Norvik. They originally went east during the Coast War, but a handful of them survived and fled to Norvik with several Arcanist artifacts. Today they are highly revered in the city, the third Lord Patriarch Huggar having been of their bloodline. Patriarch Huggar, the third Lord Patriarch of Norvik, died only 4 years into his service, but is instrumental in establishing a foothold upriver. It is marked as official goods of Bronze Banner University. It is printed here in Norvik on the last year of the Arcane Era 511. Bronze Banner University, the largest public scholarly facility in Norvik, supported by the state and often the location of political upheaval these days due to student protests. That is 28 years ago. Don't I know this history already? This book does not have an opinion. Skim through it. The first chapters regale the story of humans entering Yor, along with various origins that have been discovered. Most humans who arrived in Old Dimenor came as dragon servants during the later stages of the Fate Era. Although the book also goes to the modern refocus on attempting to avoid the clear anti-dragon biases that infuse all historical documents on the topic. Humans were brought to Yor from various outer worlds as workers, fodder, soldiers, and worshippers. Some were made to live in glorified internment camps. Some lived as loyal subjects in royal halls. The stories of early human existence on Yor are as varied as those of today. We were slaves, yes, but each dragon was a different master. It then spent a full chapter going over the draconic civil war during the Divine Era and the resulting rise of Doug Doolin Dim. Draconic Civil War, the great conflict which raged between dragons during the Divine Era. It directly caused a power vacuum which was filled by first gods and later Arcanists. Skip ahead. You arrive at the Coast War. Its destructive... they fucking spelled that wrong. Quality impacted human civilizations as much as it did the coast itself. In short, as Arcanists rose to ever greater power, humans journeyed into Old Dimenor during the Great Constellation. An offer of power and wealth to all men, no matter your background, was attractive to say the least. Great Constellation, an event that took place during the mid-Arcane Era and lasted approximately 50 years. Arcanists, in need of more manpower, organized mass immigration from all corners of the coast. All humans of any origin were invited to join the various great magocratic cities. At its end, approximately 90% of all humans were wiped out. Only a few clusters of offshoot communities survived the onslaught. The book contains a solemn list of those human cultures that were fully destroyed and the various curses, void bombs, and intrahuman genocides. Stare at the list and move on. In its final chapters, the book switches topic to instead focus on the various humans are still identified as unique phenotypes within the human folk type. Some smaller groups across the coast have no clear lineage to draconic slavery, but whether that is due to some other origin is unknown. Those who survived the Coast War. Check the chapter on the land bar. Agrarian humans of Vorgini. Many formed entire cities on the floating hills and are known for their shamanistic cultural practices and great primal spellcasters. They are described in the book as tall, having intermingled with the local giants with either white or black hair, prominent nasal features, and a distinct tan freckled skin. A major portion of the land birds were forcibly drafted during the late stage of the Coast War, and it destroyed their demographics despite the war itself never reaching their far inland country. Today, they're slowly recovering and on the fence between industrialization or keeping to their agrarian roots. Check the chapter on Yanzu. Known as the greatest human warriors of the Fade era, these humans were known to inhabit both Divinitorum and parts of northern Ascany during the service to the Red across Izath, also known as Men of the Fire and River, although the book laments the lost spelling of their original name, which seems to originate in the same tongue as the owl folk of Divinitorum. During the Great Constellation, all these humans were either left their original homes or forced out by celestial dwarves, elves, trolls, and more. They're described in the book as short and dark-haired with various skin hues. Historical documents seem to indicate that those of Fire and those of River were two entirely separate people who have been clumped together over time due to their similar facial features. Although records indicate the two might have come from entirely different origin worlds. Check the chapter on Earthfolk. Pale, generally brown hair, and tall humans whom the book makes clear were a very tiny minority among the many people of Old Dimenor. They originally appeared to have served a dragon called the Bellum, but no historical sources exist of that name beyond the oral traditions of the tribe itself. The only thing that makes the Earthfolk unique is their expertise on shipbuilding and their choice to flee their homeland before a curse bomb ruined it forever. These people then went west and conquered Ascany thanks to the god Earth, which the book does not go into detail but instead points towards many other sources. Today, Earthfolk account to around a quarter of the entire human population on Yor. Without Earth, we would have been another name on that list of lost human cultures. Check the chapter on Abalindi. Sometimes called the Blades of Blood City Bay, these humans live across the white plains and sands deep inland in Feltire. They are rare to find along the coast and are described as looking similar to people of the mountain, dark-skinned and stout with clear red eyes and broad noses. Famously, they run several of the greatest forges on the coast, having earned them a name throughout many of Feltire's most dire conflicts purely as arms dealers. The chapter explains how their expertise with guns especially brought them notoriety during the Coast War, until the Powder Curse, that is. Powder Curse, one of Yor's laws of magic. In short, certain chemical compounds react strongly to Yor's strings, often causing volatile reactions. The Arcanists of Dimenor grew their power by circumventing these laws, making use of Powder Knights. Powder Knights, an early Coast War class of soldiers, obsolete with the invention of the spell Heat Powder. Heat Powder, a first-level transmutation spell, enforces the Powder Curse on a visible target. Check the chapter of Dimenorians. The pale, dark-haired, and stereotypically gaunt humans who serve the great Mad Drake Alganoth within the plains of Inner Dimenor. Mad Drake Alganoth, the great white dragon of Old Dimenor. He's famous for his paranoia causing the first outbreak of the Draconic Civil War. They spawned many of the original Arcanists, and make up a large portion of the surviving Resiant human population. Imagine Viskin, that's your typical Dimenorian. Read the chapter on Tawalna? I'm probably saying that wrong. A small religious human people who thrive within the heartland of Heiji. They are sometimes called the Great Human Hunters. While few in number due to the constant struggle against demonic forces, as all people of Heiji are prone to do, the Tawalona live within a sacred spire on eastern Grand Mesa. They are described as tan, tall, and famously naturally attuned with primal forces. Some compare them with the Agrian Lamboar, but the sources indicate they're very different in both origin and cultural practices. Check the chapter on People of the Mountain. These are the followers of the Golden Horde, a vast group of humans who live upon the Holy Mountain. While secretive, they become less isolated during the last few decades of celestial expansion and can today be found on rare occasions in various cities across the coast. They are described as dark-skinned, with black or white hair and eyes that indicate their positions of hierarchy among their kind. No pupils mean they are attendant, glowing eyes mean the Gate Lord, and dark eyes indicate that they hold the lower placement upon the slope. Just like the Chamar lady you met. Check the chapter on the Certs. Typically stout and red-haired humans who serve the great... I'm not going to say that, in Western Dimenor. Most famously, both Calum Dimenori and Doug Dulindim originate from this culture. The book also mentions that this phenotype could be found in most surviving human populations among the coast today, due to their prominence in the early Arcane era. Calum Dimenori. The mythical first Arcanist. His existence is disputed. He was a relative of Doug Dulindim and is said to have been the first human to learn magic from his dragon masters. You probably got some Cert blood in you. You are approximately 1/10 Cert. See? Check the chapter on the Japanese. An almost mythical human people of the secretive Yem of Rim. Yem, the so-called Japanese, have been a popular topic of fiction since their discovery in the early mid-Arcane era. Japanese, the mysterious human people of Yem who live in an isolated kingdom upon great plateaus deep inland. You too were swept up at a samurai phase during your early years. The book explains how rare it is to see one of their fabled ambassadors travel across the crows, but so far, due to the magically isolated nature of their kingdom, not much is known of their nature. Close the tome. You put the book back in the pile. Open Earth and Toll Founders. You find the book has been unfortunately ruined by moisture at some point, but some of it is still readable. Not like you don't already know the story by heart. Skim through the ruined pages. The general gist you get is Earth is born in Old Divinor. He saves his people from a curse bomb. They flee their ruined land to Askani. Earth, with its brother Tor and a long list of helpers, including dwarves and many others, destroy the evil troll empire and conquer their city. Toll, Earth's brother and mythical explorer of Ascan, founded several towns along River Torna and famously never returned from his expedition to the Infinite Waste. The Infinite Waste. Starting at approximately 1,000 or so miles from the coast, depending on various factors, this land is inhospitable, unexplorable, and quite frankly cursed. Each band has its own flavor of this waste. There's a mention of Borgodero, the first paladin of Earth, with a quick summary of his life. He founded the Earth Guard. He began the illustrious bloodline of House Darrow. He was known for his vow to never succumb to any wounds in battle, and ironically he died of a heart attack at age 40. You also spot the name Cran on one page, talking about the goblin warrior service to Earth, how he joined during the Goblin Wars. Cran, the goblin who served the Goblin Treaty, who signed the Goblin Treaty. He served Earth for many years as a warrior of Norfolk. Considering how it does not mention any goblin genocide, it is most likely a very old book. That's the first half. The second half is about how they built Norvik. Though you can't see when the book... oh, god damn it, I need some water. There it is. Though you can't see when the book was published due to the immense damage to the paper. You do notice how it ends. Not with Earth's death, but with the leaving of Toll. No one knows for sure why, but Toll ended up going on an expedition to the Endless Waste far inland, and he never returned. Close the tome. Put the book back in the pile. My goodness. A lot of talking. Coin Lord's meet. You missed your meeting with the Coin Lord. Instead, you were given a message by the Angel Enter. The Celestial appears to focus on her work, a stack of many, many documents with her many eyes. There's no acknowledgement of your presence in her many, many eyes. She's avoiding eye contact in an effort to avoid conversation. None of them are looking at you. What are the odds? I am busy. Busy with what? Notes. You need help with that? I do not require assistance, cleric. That's not bad. I can't just ask her about Earth, right? No. That sounds horrifying. Earth's death weighs heavily on its closest servants. This is the type of question that might be wildly offensive to an angel. But then again, many of them might want to talk about it with the expected silence weighing heavily on them. Hard to say. Yet it is clear in her body language she does not wish to answer such a question. Yet, the boldness might also impress her. She appears to be that type of person. She likes bold men. What's it like being an angel? No response. Can you fly or just float? Glance at her broken wing. The wing twitches to the side. You feel a sick fascination with the crippled wing. Dread in your extremities, but you want to touch it. Do not. She's not reading your mind. She's reading your clearly telegraphed intentions. It just looks so cool. You hear the goblin groan in the corner. The Celestial does not even look at you, despite having so many eyes. Look around at her messy quarters. You, live like this? Some of her eyes actually turn to stare at you. Your room at home is much, much worse. This mess is a sign that she's an industrious worker, clearly. Yes, cleric? This is my base. Cool. It's cozy. She does not respond. You've offended her. Sorry. Can you cast spells? She just keeps working. Most Celestials have innate magic abilities. Do you really see out of all those eyes on the halo? All her eyes focus on you for 1 second. Your bones quiver. Okay. Bye. I'll ask this later when I don't have snow. Oh! I have to, prepare spells. I have new ones. Bless. Yes. Okay, bless. That's 1d4 on roll, which is good. Also, I think I will have to consume some more incense. There we go. Oh, and I will eat an apple, because I am an apple boy. num num. Alright. I think I have to go to Water Lane, right? Because it seems early in the morning. It's like, yeah. Yeah. Get rich or die trying. The only way is to obviously get this milk delivery gig. Try trekking around Water Lane in the morning. Will do. What's it say? West Tolls Route North, Darrow House. Okay. Quickest way to Water Lane would be through here. Oh, these guys are here. I guess I can try to behold some of them. Wow, a nat 1. Constitution? I don't think I have anything that increases my... Well, I do. Shit. Human Earthfolk, level 1 unemployed. A boy named after the dwarven word for rock. He likes his friends. They're his only friends. Oh. If he was your peer growing up, he'd be one of those fucking bullies. That's not really a massive negative on this part. Pretty much every well-adjusted kid bullied you. But he's got some conscience growing inside that skull. If you're surrounded by good men, he will turn out fine. If you're surrounded by evil, that is what his life will build. He has talent. Not like yours, gods know, but talent nonetheless. You need to push him towards clericship, or at the very least some type of path of wizardry. Without it, he will surely end up hurting people. With it, he might still hurt people, but only in the name of the law. I see. Long way to fall. I've already done that. I mean, that is a pretty big ladder. Hello, crab. Oh! What's up, boss? Whoa, we got 5 bottles of milk. Hey, man. Oss is standing at a street corner. Behind him, a large crate of milk bottles. Cleric, leave. Be gone. Is this the milk run? Yes. Can I help? No. Try harder. You can do this. Please? He growls in an adorable way. You can see him stop his growling. He thinks to himself, something. A scheme? But then the kobold turns around and starts picking up bottles. He hands them to you one by one. You are now milk delivery human. You are on the milk run. A quest? What, really? Human, listen up. Each bottle is special, very expensive. You must deliver it to rich people, make them buy. The price is 4,000 crown. That's ridiculously expensive. It is good milk. After you sell them all, you come to me on election day. That is when we count money. Each costs 2,000 crowns. 2,000? Yes. For one bottle of milk? Yes. You sell all, you get 20,000 crown. That is math. It is good math. On election day, you pay me 10,000 crown. That is recoup. Recoup? Recoup. I get 10, you get 10. That is recoup. What happens if I don't sell them all? Expensive milk. Good milk. If cleric cannot sell, cleric pays. 10,000. Oh no. Who's pinging me? Who do I sell it to? Stupid human, rich human, milk lover, cow fucker. Find and sell, easy. Even cleric do. Is this a scam? No. Alright, let's do it. Do it. Good. Yes! Just drink the milk. Cleric come talk on election day. Bring money. Now go. Be gone. Goodbye. Do whatever you want, cleric, but please don't even think about asking me to buy one. You should probably try to find some humans. They love milk. You just hang out down here. No. Go away. I will not talk to cleric. Seems like he's not in the mood to talk. Obviously, yes, halfway thrall. That's a big word for a little green guy. Snow glanced at you and shrugs. What if I drink the milk? No! Or, do as wish. If cleric does, cleric will pay. Either way, I get rich. Maybe not then. Who's funding this operation? I am. I get from producer, then transport, then sell. It is milk run. It is big profit. So you are... No more question. I am busy. Hustler's gotta hustle. Any tips on who to sell milk to? No. Now go away. You're not going to be able to sell any of this milk. Simply drink it. You'll be your own customer. Well, there's probably some way for you to sell these, right? Come speak after election. Money will be collected then. Gotta sell this milk, bro. Who do I even sell it to? Oh, this door's open. It wasn't before. This door looks promising. You stand before a damp door in a cramped corner house. The wood is dark, swollen with the pressure moist of waterland. A layer of river mud and algae. Wow, I finally succeed a check.
Huh?
You know someone here? No? Then why are you standing here? Yes? Why does it sound like a question? Knock on the door. You rap your knuckles against the wood. A solid rhythmic knock. Hello? A moment passes. Then the sound of a heavy latch sliding. The door creaks open. A pair of bulbous eyes stare up at you. It is an Honorin. Oh my god. I'm so sorry, French people. He blinks slowly. A translucent memory flicks across his eyes. I am busy. Très occupé. I have some questions. Oh? Wait. He squints into uniform. Are you, how do you say? Le clerge? I am the cleric, yes. Ah, well. Your commitment to clerikish behavior runs deep. He nods respectfully. At least you're not from the tithe house. The Honoran peeks his head out beyond the door. Tu veux quoi? Why do you ask if I'm a cleric? Because you smell of incense and self-righteousness. C'est évident. Imbecile. Rude, but accurate. What is your name? I am Guillaume de Crête. Great name. Merci. What do you do here? I live here. Je vis ici. Is that a crime now, in this maudite city? He seems offensive. Nice house. No, it is as you say, shit. Temporary, until I take the next ship home. He gestures vaguely to the board. Ask for a contribution to your cause. Let's go. Just smile. The kind of smile that opens wallets. Oh, and kisses ass hard. My good sir, surely a gentleman of your stature supports the arts or the holy cause? Ah, flatterie. He sighs, his throat pouch inflating slightly. Told you. You're charming. C'est ennui. He reaches... I said that so wrong. I'm so sorry, French people. Oh, shit. Did the stream stop for a second? Nuts. You reach for something on the other side of the door. Take this. Now, au revoir. He shoves a Venti bottle towards you. The door slams shut before you can say thank you or anything else. Look at it. The pinkish liquid swirls inside. Around. This is no small potion. This Honoran must be well connected. Lovely. This will make things much smoother. So you really just went and knocked on some stranger's door? Look, I'm not going to knock on your methods too much, but if you keep this up, we'll be done by 6 months after the election. And didn't even talk about the tea shop. Not once. I didn't? No, you didn't. I'm fairly certain I slipped one in there. I'm fairly certain you did not slip anything, metaphorically or otherwise, into anyone. I just had a feeling this door was important, was all. The goblin closes his eyes in short, silent contemplation. Then he says, maybe stick to le points d'intérêt, okay? That's funny. I like that. Ooh. An Ascani classic. Contains a fizzy drink that tastes just like ale, with none of the actual downsides. So it's actually okay for you to drink this since it's non-alcoholic. Grants a minor charisma increase. Let's go. Alright. Are these crates out here moved? They are. Who's that? Evicnus dock worker. Hold on. Let me equip this hammer so I can have a good, better chance. Okay, didn't change much. No! Dwarf 11. Dwarf exile. Level 1 proletariat. A guy. Dwarf. Average height. Collected. Down to earth. True to his feelings. Decently smart. Chill. Cool. Nice to animals. Not much about it. Not much else. Okay. Free cities, democracy, prosperity. The coastal hemisphere. You approach the half-sphere. The 8 bands. You see Divini, Torum, Eskin, Reeds, and Fortune. It accurately depicts the best calculated distances we've got. Look at Divini Torum. Divini Torum, a pointy coastline centered around a mountainous region at its center, marked as peak of the gods. Unnatural formations and shapes litter the landscape around it. Gate era remains, signs of a divine battle. Further inland you see a vast flat plain divided into perfect squares, some with moat-like rivers surrounding them. A name spans its area. It says, Golden Horde. Various city-states are placed along the mountains on the coast, towns and roads are marked across the plains. A great and terrible band. The old Celestials hold great power here still, with their stagnating states. Their tribute practices and semi-slavery methods have given them a unique position in the post-war coast. Look at Ascan. You see the burned coast to the east with the Ilim Forest covering the border with the reeds. To the west are the hills and mountains of Fornip and Visca. It says in big, bold letters, Norvik, at the start of the river that cuts through the middle of the band. A great city with great lettering. Well, this is your home band. You've only ever left the confines of Norvik once, and only to a neighboring river town. Remember that long ship trip? Terrible. Look at Reeds. Reeds, a vast temperate band. The coastline is bent into a large half-lake. Many city-states litter the landscape. Most are remnants of megacracies, those who were not destroyed entirely during the Coast War. You see the Ilim Forest to the west and several marked out areas on the map designated Kurskrim. The Coast War took much, even the land itself. If the great wizard kings remained, they could clean that up. Look at Fort Jenny. Fort Jenny, a great highland, strangely shaped lakes. Special markings designate gravity masses. Floating spheres of farmland that are logically difficult to map out. The only real cities are placed along the coast. A line is marked out. Halfway towards the waist, it says Frontier Gap. Frontier Gap, the great line drawn by Nomad tribes in Fort Jenny. No outsiders are allowed past this line, yet many attempt to push it back. You've heard of this place and its beauty. Perhaps one day you will see it yourself. Spin it around. You do so, revealing the other 4 bands, those furthest away from your home band. You see Heiji, Kargamesh, Veltyre, and Yin. You've never actually seen these bands, so who knows what they're like. Look at Heiji. Heiji, a grand jungle with a handful of mountain ranges splitting the band into a spiral. It looks like a maw. Several parts of this map are drawn very abstractly. We do not have proper information on large swaths of this band. It is simply too dangerous to map out properly. One of the few points actually marked out is Lake Kuja, near the border of Vorchini. Lake Kuja, a saltwater lake found in the jungles of Heiji, connected with a similar lake found in the undercoast. Many argue it should be considered one body of water, the only of its kind to pass a gravity flip beyond Your Sea itself. Your Sea, a name for the Great Sea, which the bands surround. Look at Kargamesh. Kargamesh, 2 vast deserts with pockets of magical green across. The rocky savanna of the west and the far-reaching dunes of the east. Divided by the vast river ravine, the Bay of Four, at the peak of which lies the legendary city of Ukul. Ukul, the jewel of Kargamesh, means endless pillars and primordial, a natural wonder of the world, an underground city where all elements live in harmony. Rivers of water and lava intertwine, and clouds gather around a forest of enormous stone pillars, a paradise far from the coast and the undersea. It is also marked by vast symbols for other undercoast ravines which connect with the various cities. The stereotypical exotic land beyond the coast. You have read many a tale set in this wondrous land. The Sand of the Orient and Emerald Serpents. Stories about men striving to conquer the foreign hordes in their lands. Glorious. We always remembered them more as being about connection with the foreign, how we can all learn from those who are different. All that fighting against elemental evil surely went against that message. Perhaps so. Look at Veltyre. Veltyre, red and white plains with great forests to the east and deserts to the west. A wonderful feature of the map. You can actually make out the corpse of Gorgon as he lay upon Blood City Bay. Truly a fascinating landmark. One of those wonders of the world you should see once before you die. Look at Yim. Yim, the walled band. Large portions of the map are blank. These are marked out as Ygaria's inner wall. Ygaria, the outer god of the Yim elves, dead or missing since the Coast War, along with all the others. You know very little of this land, as does everyone else. Look at Your Sea, the top half of the half-sphere. Your Sea, the blue top half of the hemisphere. Above this strip of land, you see 1,000 little islands, islets marked out, along with common trade routes. But the further up you go, the fewer markings upon the blue. Only the Far Isles can be found there. Far Isles. The islands found deep in Your Sea, even further than Middle Edge, known for their aberration inhabitants and the legendary pirate treasures hidden all around. At the top it says, Yours Point. Yours Point, the legendary first gate. Based on archaeological evidence, the Beast of Yor believes Yours to have entered this realm at this location at the farthest point of Your Sea, right where all the bands collide. None who have tried sailing to this point have returned. Beyond that, off the coast of Heiji, you see Salto del Sapo Aligre, and below the reeds you see the text Middle Edge. This is a sea hemisphere. There are full globes that depict the land in more detail as well. However, since there is no consensus on exact distances, due entirely to the unstable esoteric natures of both inland and seaward, whether people view Yours realm as a hemisphere or a globe is up to the use cases. Seaward. Seaward, a term for travel towards the coast and toward yours point. Why is it a hemisphere again? It is not always depicted this way. If you look across the room, you can see a full globe version as well. However, the scholarly modern depicting of the world is indeed a hemisphere purely for practical reasons. Travel across the deeper parts of yours ocean can be done via arcs across the ocean, while travel across land of the sort that in any way approaches the endless waste will likely result in getting lost in long marches. This is extremely difficult to understand. You have spent months studying esoteric geography of the towers. Spin it back. You do so seeing the four bands closest to you, emotionally at least. My goodness gracious, this is a lot. The incredible sword hangs upon the wall. Oh, I want that. Spices and extracted juices of the most exotic varieties. This rug is a fake frick frame. How very glib. A guy, he keeps shuffling about. A framed article titled Octavio Durilis' Hero of Waterlane. A spell scroll with a note on it for emergencies. I think I will end it here. I've been talking for a while, and not much has really happened, which is interesting. Thank you for anyone and everyone who decided to stop by. Hope everyone has a good night, and I'd like to come back to this tomorrow. Peace.